place. Thank you that we have a rich, rich, rich heritage as Caribbeans, whether we are born in the Caribbean or descendants. Thank you for our children. Thank you for what this country means to us. But most of all, to recognize what we have done for this country and for this place, these people who are here right now, to take us even further along as we leave our Caribbean legacies. So thank you, and the Lord be with us as we continue.
Thank you, Ms. Watson. Thank you. All right. So tonight, we're going to have a panel of esteemed media professionals, illustrious media professionals who are with us this evening to share with you all, the audience, their work or the work that they are doing as the gateway to the Caribbean market and serving as a doorway to accessing that market. You know, we talk about the Caribbean community in Georgia. I mean, we celebrate in Caribbean American Heritage Month. We talk about the businesses and the political activism. We're seeing many of our Caribbean nationals running for office, opening up businesses, doing phenomenal things in diverse spaces, right? And it's great that we recognize these individuals and recognize, more important, accessing that Caribbean market. Finding out what is the doorway to accessing that Caribbean market, right? And accessing that Caribbean market not by Caribbean nationals, but even non-Caribbean individuals who are looking to reach that market. Now, there are over about approximately 300,000 Caribbean nationals from various Caribbean countries living throughout Georgia, right, with a disposable income of $50 billion. That's $50 billion in the hands of 300,000 people who are looking to spend money. And they're like, oh, I got all this money. Oh, my God, where am I going to spend it? Oh, my God, I want to spend this money. I want to charge my credit card. I need to find a Caribbean business. Oh, my God. You know, and it's like, you know, you have all these media professionals who have programs, have platforms that are vibrant and active, and they're looking for you. They're looking for you to come to them to help you connect with that market. And especially if you're a non-Caribbean national looking to connect with the Caribbean market and sell to the Caribbean market. When we look at social media, when we look at videos, you know, anywhere from $50 to $100 billion in revenue that businesses realize from utilizing social media, utilizing videos, right? TikTok or YouTube or whatever, right? So tonight we're going to have our panelists. They're going to come up. We're going to introduce them a little bit in a few minutes, and we're going to have an exchange, a Q&A between myself as the moderator and our panelists, and then we're going to open the floor, and we want questions from our audience. Now, you know, it's still early for us as Caribbean people, right? So we know on the invitation, the event says it ends at 8, right? But, you know, our panel begins at 5. The panel part of it begins at 5. And we conclude somewhere around 7:15, 7:30, right? Because we got some announcements at the end. But we know more people are going to show up, right? Not everybody registered, because even for me, sometimes I register very last minute, or I just show up because of my schedule. So I know there are people who are trying to manage busy schedules, and, you know, today's Sunday and so on and so forth, all right? So what I want to do now, I want to call up Monica Trotz. Monica is a representative of the Georgia Caribbean American Heritage Coalition. She has been involved with the coalition and the work that they do for many years. They do some phenomenal work. And, you know, last week they were supposed to have, you know, we were supposed to have this big grand opening at City Hall. But, you know, because of water damage, you know, sometimes, man, things just happen, right? Things just happen. So we didn't have the grand opening that we normally have for Caribbean Heritage Month, you know. So tonight is like a mini opening for Caribbean Heritage Month also, right? We're going to get our Caribbean nationals together, right? Yeah, man, we're going to celebrate tonight, right? We're going to celebrate tonight, right? So right now I want to bring up Monica Trotz so we can move the program along, because we got a lot of questions. There's a lot that people want to find out. I know we're live streaming, right? We're live streaming, so there's a lot that people want to find out. Hey, what's that Ezzy Spotlight? What's that Kazzy B? What is this Rose Solo, the Rose Solo show, the Flavor, Wayne Hall show? You know, what's a red carpet? Who? You know, I mean, you know, I'm sure people got questions, and they're going to find out tonight. They're going to find out tonight what you guys are all about. Monica Trotz.
Thank you very much, Austin. Thank you very much, everyone. And once again, good afternoon. And of course, I'm sure it's good evening for some places. All the special guests and invitees. As Austin said, my name is Monica Trotz, and I represent the Georgia Caribbean American Heritage, Inc. And it's an honor to represent our organization, GCAHC. This is a special event that entails the media and how they can promote the media. So I just want to talk about that. And they call it a brand. So I'll say a brand is an identity and story of a company that makes it stand out from competitors and sells similar products and services. So the process of creating your brand's identity, this is called branding. Also, the goal of branding is to earn space in the minds of the target audience and become their preferred options of doing great business. Therefore, to reach the Caribbean market through media, I would say it is by teamwork. And that's why we have our panelists chosen this evening to present or brainstorm those ideas in creative ways and how they can reach the Caribbean market. And maybe, if possible, the international market. Having said all of the above, I'm going to be just short. On behalf of the board and members and Austin Thompson Consulting LLC, I would like to welcome everyone to this special event. But before I leave, I want to say to Mr. Thompson that I'm confident that your esteemed panel can promote and reach the Caribbean market by getting into the heart and soul of their target audience. And also collaborating with other organizations. And with that being said, they can become a successful brand, now and in the future. So I just want to thank you, and Mr. Thompson, welcome, and welcome everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I got to take big steps coming up them stairs, man. These glasses are very new, and sometimes the floor comes at you like this. So I'm walking, I'm like, it don't look right falling and tripping in front of people, especially when we live streaming, so I better take big steps. All right, cool. So we're going to get ready to start with our panel, with the introduction of our panel. With the introduction of our panel, you know, sometimes the cues don't work. But it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. You know, that's what we're here to have a great time, right? Right? We're here to have a great time. So we're going to have a great time, right? Before we get started with the introduction, I want to just give a shout out to Caribbean International Shipping. Caribbean, Atlanta's #1 shipping company, shipping to various parts of the Caribbean. We're going to call one of those lovely young ladies up at the end. They could tell you, they take 2-3 minutes to tell you a little bit about Caribbean International Shipping, where they ship. Big up to DJ Reds in the house, representing Caribbean Radio and the Rush Hour show, and then we're going to recognize other folks. But before I close off recognition, I want to recognize the Honorary Counsel for Guyana, Marva Jacobs, representing the Consular Corps of Georgia, and to all of our esteemed guests. All right, so you guys ready for the panelists? You guys ready for the panelists? All right. I know y'all need to act like y'all excited. DJ Reds, kick it.
Hope I'm not talking too much.
All right. So we're talking about promoting our brand through media.
So sweet, yeah. Sometimes I feel like I don't wanna go home. No.
And we're about to call up our esteemed panelists. You know, we are Caribbean people, so we do things differently. Right? We do things differently. First up, I want to call to the stage Rico Vibes of the Flavor Radio. Rico Vibes represented the Flavor Radio. Yes. Next up, you've heard her on the Rose Solo Show, Rhonda Solomon, the one and only Rose Solo, the Phoenix.
Watch out, Jaja. Here we love our life now. Everywhere is by
Rose Solo, the Phoenix in the house. Yes. The man with the spotlight, who brings the spotlight to all of his guests on his show. The man, Ezron Benjamin, Ezzy B. The man who brings the spice, yes, all the time, Ezzy B. And you know, before you get into any event, what you got to do, you got to step on the red carpet and you got to take them pictures, right? So I want to bring to the stage next, representing WRFG 89.3 FM and the Red Carpet brand, Red Carpet Shelly. All right. What makes that sound? Bees, right? And it's not only Georgia Tech that's be buzzing. The other thing buzzing around here is the one and only Kazi. Bees. Miss Guyana London. I think it's Guyana London, right? Guyana UK. Guyana UK, Miss Guyana UK. Either way, she won. London, UK, Great Britain, the English, you know. Hey, yo. What is it to be Caribbean? What is it to be Caribbean? Right? The only person who has that answer to be Caribbean and representing 97.9 with Chuck Rock, Marissa Williams.
Life is so good to me.
Yeah.
Life is so good to me. From your wake up this morning, you're the winner.
Mr. Wayne Hall of the Wayne Hall Show will be here. He went to Alabama for the Birmingham Carnival because they got Carnival too there. So he's on his way because he had to do a whole lot of interviews and recording. So he will be here. So we're going to give him his props when he comes. But right now I want to introduce the man behind Caribbeanlifetv and Caribbean Life Radio. We know him as Lawrence Prescott.
Life is so good to me. From your wake up this morning.
Yes. And I am Austin Thompson, representing the city of Lawrenceville when I'm not representing anything else, but representing the Guyanese community. You know how we go, right? The Guyanese Caribbean community. Yes, yes, yes. Everybody take a seat. Again, I just want to thank, our panelists. These are our panelists, and Wayne is going to come. Wayne is going to sit right here. I was saving that seat for him. And when he gets here, he's just going to take his seat. But I want to thank our panelists or these individuals. I want to thank them for being on the panel. And, just to share with all of you why they do what they do, how they do it, and what's the story behind the brand, right? Behind their brand as they look to promote the brand of you or promote your brand, right? And so I just want to go ahead and start with our panelists, right? And we want to find out some basic things, and I just want everybody to just observe 1 minute. 1 minute. These folks like to talk. That's what they do for a living. I'm a politician. I like to talk too. So I know sometimes I got to carry, people usually tell me naturally, hey, Austin, just keep it short. But, we got 1 minute per individual. Who you are, right, or who are you, where you're from, what inspired you on this path, on the path you've taken, right, and how long have you operated your program, right? We're going to start at the far end with Mr. Ezzy B.
Mic check, 1, 2.
1, 2.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ezzy Spotlight. My real name is Ezron Benjamin. Some of you guys may know me as DJ Ezzy B, but I've since transitioned to Ezzy Spotlight because I'm not just a DJ anymore. I'm a man of many talents. So there goes Ezzy Spotlight. I am from Grenada. What inspired me to get into media? Showcasing hidden gems and more, talking to people from all walks of life, not necessarily from the Caribbean, even if we're here for the Caribbean communities. But I think we need to tell our stories, and we got to provide a platform to tell our stories. So by talking to people about who they are, where they're from, what they do, how they start, where they're going next, and where they are right now, or where they plan to go next, is something that I have great passion for. And I've been doing it for almost 15 years now. So I'm happy to be a part of this media panel. And of course, to my fellow colleagues, thank you guys for being here as well.
Well, hello, everybody. I am Kazi B. Yes. I'm Kazi B, and I represent the Promo Show. Well, I have 2 podcasts. One is the Promo Show, which started right here at Caribbeanlifetv. And so where am I from? I am from the UK originally. My parents are Guyanese, so I represent Guyana wherever I go, the love for the country and everything else. And what inspired me to come on this path? Well, I've been in media for a while. It didn't just start here in Atlanta. Having been in the pageant world, the modeling world, etc., I have, dibbled and dabbled in TV, magazines, and so forth. This is before social media. There was a lot of magazines. But anyway, moving forward, when Lawrence started Caribbeanlifetv, I did a lot of traveling, and I realized there wasn't an international component to Caribbeanlifetv. So I approached Lawrence, we talked about it, and that's kind of where I started 4.5 years ago now with Lawrence in that space. When the pandemic hit, that's when everything changed. So the studio, the studio was born. I moved into a more operational marketing type role. And, we decided to do a community day. So I know it's a little bit overwhelming. I'm almost finished. So we decided to do a community day coming out of the pandemic. So the Promo Show was created under the premise of helping small businesses get back on their feet and so forth. So that's where the Promo Show. So 3 seasons later, I've just wrapped season 3. Going to be doing season 4 come August. And that's about it. So here I am.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marissa Williams, representing Trinidad and Tobago. Whoop, whoop. And I see a lot of enthusiastic faces, some people smiling, some not so much, but we're glad you're here. So I'm representing two brands tonight. One is To Be Caribbean. That's a brand that I established on my own. The premise of the brand is to showcase Caribbean creatives and pretty much educate them on how to position themselves to be globally competitive. It's on pause right now because I can't climb the corporate ladder, do radio station, and have a blog. So my body was like, calm down, but I will still reference To Be Caribbean from some relevant experiences. I'm also representing Authentic Caribbean, which we like to boast that we're one of the first, we're the first nationally syndicated Caribbean radio show. Still to vet if that's true. But we're syndicated in 15 markets, and we have a cumulative listenership of about 3.5 million people last time we checked. So we're very, very passionate about making sure Caribbean culture is well known throughout the world. In terms of what inspired my journey, it actually started from a friend of mine, Jason Walker. I would have these passionate debates with him offline, just talking about how we could improve things in the Caribbean community. And he decided that I needed to talk about that on radio. So he gave me a 2-minute segment on his show, Caribbean Run-Ins on WRFG, that elevated to me being one of the guest personalities. And then I joined the board of WRFG. And while I was there, I recognized that Caribbean people needed to have a voice when it came to media. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, Austin, thank you so much for putting this panel together. My name is Rhonda Solomon. In media, I am known as Rose Solo the Phoenix. I started this journey almost 7 years ago on 106 Live Radio, and then a few months after that with that gentleman down there, Ezron Benjamin, DJ Ezzy B, and a few months later, well, Lawrence was there the first day. So a few months later, I started working with Caribbeanlifetv. Worked with Caribbean Life for a few years. We did a lot. And when I talk about volunteering for the community and giving back to the community, that's what Caribbeanlifetv does. Well, I guess we'll talk about it further later, but you know, you have to, in media, you have to go out there. If you call us, we're gonna come. And sometimes we don't give a number or a price or anything, we just come, because it's something that we want to showcase and something that we want to do. So what inspired me is I've always wanted to do radio. I grew up, I was born in Boston. Go Celtics. I bleed green. My mom is from Jamaica. I grew up in Jamaica, and my dad is from Trinidad. So I am U.S. born. I am Yachty grown, and I am Trinity to the bone. Last year, I was blessed to open my own media platform, Phoenix Radio, and we have several syndicated shows. And the Rose Solo show, although I took a break recently, we grew to over 7 platforms every Tuesday and Thursday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I've been blessed to work with DJ Reds on the Rush Hour show. I've been blessed to work with Red Carpet Shelly on Caribbean Runnings and WRFG. It has been an amazing, amazing journey, and I look forward to it. My mantra is always to give a voice to the voiceless, because Ezzy gave me a platform when I was voiceless. So my goal and my responsibility to the community is to showcase those who have no voice, to showcase all those creators and creatives we may not normally hear about. I like the big artists too, you know, Kess and all of them are good too, but we have a lot of people in this community that we don't know about, and they need to be showcased and they need to be lifted up. So I think, did I hit all the questions? Even if I did I go longer than you? Oh, so sorry. I got more to go. What else I got more to go. But yes, I'm Rose Solo. I'm the Phoenix, and I continue to rise and thrive radiantly. Here you go.
Hey. My name is Shelly, aka Red Carpet Shelly. Thank you to Austin for putting this event together. I am originally from St. Thomas, United States Virgin Islands. VI Massive, big up yourself. My mother was from St. Kitts Nevis, and this is my St. Kitts Nevis brother from another mother. And my father was from Barbados. I grew up in New York, so I'm all over the place. What inspired me? I would say my parents inspired me. They didn't teach me to be Caribbean or say this is what Caribbeans do or should do or not do. They just were Caribbean, and their mere existence was just ingrained in everything that I did growing up. So with that love of my Caribbean heritage, as I grew older, I did a lot of things. I first started out on Wall Street and was very disenfranchised at some point, despite the money, and decided that I wanted to do something more important, meaningful, and leave a legacy. And that's how I started getting into media. And Marissa mentioned Jason Skywalker. He founded the Caribbean Runnings Show. And that's how I actually ended up on radio. I guess Jason just recruited people all the time, huh? So I was in there one day. I was actually a guest and was helping out with other stuff, and people thought I was part of RFG anyway. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Jason was like, you should come back. And so 15 years later, I'm still there. So I am part of Caribbean Runnings 89.3 FM. I am my own brand, Red Carpet Shelley. I started a show in New York, Lime Time, with Red Carpet Shelley on the television, on TV before I came here. But the first place that my voice was heard on radio, even before Caribbean Runnings, was right here with this man, Rico Vibes, on the Flavor Radio. So I have to say thank you for that. He took a chance. He took a chance on a girl from New York. Put me on the radio, and yeah, as they say, yeah, the rest is history.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rico Vibes. My real name is Leon Peets. I was born in St. Kitts Nevis. My father's from St. Kitts. My mom is from Nevis. I grew up in Berkeley, California. I got into radio in high school, actually, on the high school radio station. Fast forward, I moved to New York back in the 80s and got into radio there as well. Formed a sound system, traveled the world, was featured in a couple of music videos with Busta Rhymes, Sean Paul, Beanie Man, Lady Saw, stuff like that. I was a featured DJ. So I had a little fame here and there. I moved here in 03 and I was on Blazing 98 radio station. I left that in 09 and formed the Flavor Radio. And been broadcasting in Gambia, in Senegal. I've actually have a billboard in Gambia, where I've visited a couple of times, and in Senegal and Kenya as well. What made me get into radio is because I love my culture. I left Nevis at 9 years old, so I don't know much about Nevis, really. But I'm still a Caribbean man, I'm still a West Indian at heart. And so I love my soca, I love my reggae, I love everything. A lot of folks think I'm Jamaican, but I'm not. But in terms of Atlanta, I love the diaspora here, I love the diversity of folks here. Media was pretty much just starting. It was only Jason Walker here at the time, and maybe one or two other people, Glenn Simmons, God rest his soul. So those guys really inspired me to really do radio and media here. I want to thank the whole of the panel. I've worked with every one of you at some capacity. I think this is a great forum. Thank you very much. And I look forward to working with some of you. Thank you.
You left me for last, so you got to start the question over. But just to say...
You want me to start over?
No, just the questions.
Oh, okay. It's just basically who you are, where you're from, what inspired you on your path to creating Caribbean Life TV, Caribbean Life Radio, and also how long have you operated your studio?
Understood. Well, I'll start with, I know you've traveled to a few countries with all those Jamaican artists. I've traveled the world with Michael Jackson in my dreams. I just wanted to up you on that one, you know. But no, my name is Lawrence Prescott. I am from Guyana. And I've pretty much worked with everybody on this platform. We've all been in the trenches. But the way that I started, it was about 6 years ago. I've been in photography about 15 years or more. I say a little bit longer, but just 15 years in the business. So I started out doing the pictures in the parties, stuff like that, printing on site. And then I started dabbling with video. And for the most part, I didn't know what I was doing because it was just passion. So I went to Clayton State and studied photography, digital photography. And after I graduated, I started the business. But I was still working at the time. And I just jumped, right? So I retired early. Everyone would think that I had all this money because you retired before 50. I didn't have a cent. But I had $1 million in my head. I have millions in my head with what I was getting ready to do. And so I jumped. And it was a faith walk that continues until this day. Since then. Thank you. So I started doing pictures at events, and I noticed that there was no one interviewing. So they would take pictures. They would hire me to take pictures, but no one was asking these artists, when is your next album coming out? So I was so new to the game that I didn't know about a red carpet, Shelley. Ha! Ha! Ha!
That's a good one.
You know? So I really didn't know. So anyway, I started. I wanted to start, and I started. I jumped. And in jumping, I got a few young ladies that is going to hold the mic and look good and do the interviews. And Ro expressed interest. Kazi, I watched Marissa, all these folks that I started seeing, Shelly. And I'm here really proud that Ezzy worked with Caribbeanlifetv. Lean back, let me see us. Kazi, Marissa, Ro, Shelly, and here. Everyone on this, no, Rico, I know the names, but I wanted to say I feel good because in starting, everyone that is sitting on this panel either work with me, help me, mentor me, show me how it's done. Everyone on this planet brought value to what we're sitting in. Everyone. So it's good that Austin thought of something like this where I'm able to say to all of you guys, thank you. I stand on their shoulders. I really, really do. Because they all had done it before me. And I learned from each and every one of them. So thank you again. And I've been doing it for about 6 years, and I think that's it.
Thank you. That was a great rebound, because because Shelly got that stick. You know what I'm saying? She got that stick, and I can't help you, bruh. I can't help you. You know, I might call the ambulance. Because Lawrence just complimented everybody on whose shoulders he stood on his way to becoming Lawrence Prescott of CLTV. But everyone on this panel here, and with the exception of Rico, and I just met Rico literally tonight for the first time, and I was introduced to him about a month ago by Ezzy as we're putting the panel together. But ask me how long I've known the Flavor brand. Over 20 years, and never knew. I heard the name Rico Vibes, but I just never knew the gentleman, right? And tonight, when he walked through there, I recognized him from the photo. It was the first time that I met him. But everybody on this panel have interviewed me in some capacity, and I really appreciate the value that they bring. And this is why I wanted to bring forward all of them tonight, so you all could be reaffirmed or either reintroduced or introduced to these individuals, because they bring a lot of value. And I think that they need to be utilized more. So now, that's a great segue into access and accessing, right? The doorway to accessing your respective audiences. So what I want to ask of each of the panelists here, we're going to start again with Ezzy B, right? He's like the leadoff pitcher in the baseball game, right? So who comprises your audience, right? Who are you reaching? The Ezzy Spotlight. Who are you reaching? Who comprises your audience? Where are they listening from or watching from? And the size of your audience. How many of them are watching and listening?
So transitioning from radio into podcast has been a significant growth, if you ask me. First of all, everyone on this platform here are radio personalities, but owning a radio and managing a radio at the same time, it's like a crying baby. So I transitioned from radio into podcasting, and my audience comprises of a diverse group of people. I speak to all walks of life, every type of business, culture, nationality. I've had people call into whether it's my radio show or my podcast from as far as Australia or Ireland or South Africa. So this is the kind of people who actually find me online and make contact and say, hey, I got a book, I want to talk to you about it. And this is how far my reach is. However, people are listening from all across the globe. Now, you look at Facebook. Well, first of all, when I transitioned from radio into podcasting, it was designed to actually pre-record the conversations and post them later. But that was a lot of work because the post-production, as some of those guys will tell you, who does, video edited, it takes a lot of work, especially when you're doing this on a regular basis. So I transitioned into doing live on Facebook and YouTube. And right now, my audience, the last time I checked, I think it was up to last week, it was over 172,000 people was watching. And now many of them may not like it, but you can see the actual stats and tell you how to reach.
Ezzy, say that again. 100 what?
172,000.
Right, 172,000.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Got access to.
Access. So, which means in 30 days, 172,000 doing something just once a week for about 30 to 45 minutes is significant, if you ask me. Okay. Now, imagine if I'm doing this every single day, what that reach would look like. Think about it. Okay. This is just not a 24-hour platform. It's just a platform that's operated for 30 to 45 minutes once a week, so that's 4 times a month for 172,000. So this is pretty good. This is my reach. Thank you.
Well done. You can retire. Okay, so to piggyback off of Ezzy, I have 2 shows. One is a podcast, and the other is a show with his in studio here at CLTV. So my show is on the radio, as well as TV station, Facebook, Bacchanal TV, and my podcast is also on Clark TV. So putting all of that together, various platforms will bring you various audiences from all over. So I actually, had to do some homework for Austin. So I did look at some of my figures, and the audience is from right here in the studio. We have over, is it 100 countries, Lawrence? Over 100 countries for the reach. The platform that I'm on, I also stream to YouTube, and on my YouTube page, I have all over the world: Canada, UK, Germany, India, Philippines, as far as Croatia that I just, saw today. And the reach could be more. And as you said, it's only twice a week. I only do it twice a week. The first show is an hour. The other one it's 2 hours. So that's 3 hours weekly. Could you imagine if it was done every single day? The amount of people that we can reach. And I know within our community here in Atlanta, especially, a lot of the businesses that I approach would say, I don't need to be known in Croatia. You just never know. You just never know. If you have an online business, if you're selling books, there's so many, you don't know where your audience is going to come from. So the reach is definitely wide. It's possible. And not taken away from the radio itself. People still listen to radio. It's not just about seeing. They still listen to radio. So that, would add to those numbers. So it's pretty wide.
So in terms of reach for Authentic Caribbean, we're in Atlanta, OG 97.9 FM, primarily an American audience. So I would say of our listenership, it's about 75% American. In terms of Cume, so we're tied to Cumulus, that's our parent company. So they have a pretty wide reach, but our show reaches about 3.5 million people. That's cumulative over a 3-month period. So that's how we measure our listenership. And then we have audiences in Canada, Aruba, DC, Pennsylvania, and I can't remember the rest of the list. So the key takeaway is it's far and wide, including Alabama, where Mr. Wayne Hall just came from. Welcome, Wayne. So yeah, that's it.
The reach. So when I started on 106 Live Radio, it was already established, right? So it was easy for me because as he had already built the platform, the station was already moving. I was syndicated on the Flavor Radio with Rico, so they'd already done the job for me. All I had to do was walk in that studio every single day and give you this voice and give you a program. But this man right here, it's not that easy. He teaches you that you have to know how to run and do the engineering, and you have to know how to push, because he's not coming in the studio with you. So initially, I know we started about 100K weekly in regards to reach. I've moved several platforms since then, but the Rose Solo Show now is syndicated on 7 platforms. We have New Jersey, which is QMZ and Viscosity Blend. We have General Radio coming out of Jamaica. We have a platform in the UK. I'm on the Flavor Radio, which extends me to Gambia and Nigeria and audiences in Africa. And then my cousin and I also started this, we started going on Clubhouse. And with Clubhouse, my cousin does a morning show, 9 to 1 Coffee and Toll World News on the Go, where we provide the world news, not the depressing news that we often have to listen to. We provide it with a little culture and some music and some conversation. And that platform, that show runs daily and has allowed us to reach so many different people because it's Clubhouse. So we have people in the UK, we have people in Africa, we have people in Germany, just a diverse selection. So I'm very excited when that show comes back. So yeah, I'm syndicated on 7 platforms. The reach for Phoenix Radio, I'm proud of myself. The reach for Phoenix Radio, we were only 6, although we were only, I launched in October. So when I gave a pause, it was 6 months, and at that time, we'd hit organic, all the numbers, 2,000. So I'm very proud of that in that short period of time. So yeah, but the Rose Solo Show itself is a broader span, thanking all the platforms. General Radio, and let me make sure I get all of them. QMZ Radio, General Radio, Viscosity Blend, Phoenix Radio, Coffee Radio. I'll check out Keisha, Coffee Radio, and I'm missing someone, but I'll remember shortly. Here you go.
Okay, let's see. In terms of reach, WRFG is nonprofit, so we don't spend the money that they do over there, Cumulus, to tell you the exact figures, but WRFG is a 100,000 watt station. The only other radio station in Atlanta with 100,000 watts is V103. So we reach the entire metro Atlanta area, which is about 5 million in population. My social media has collectively over 20,000 followers. And most of my followers, surprisingly, are male. About 60% of my followers are male. They're all over the world, UK, Africa, Asia, of course, the United States, the Caribbean, big presence in Jamaica as well. So they're all over. They're all over. So that's about it.
Thank you. Let me just start by saying one of the unique things about the Flavor Radio is that when I decided to start the Flavor Radio, I've had experiences in New York being a sound system and a DJ, and met many friends along the way. One of those people was Gramps Morgan from Morgan Heritage. And so once, I told him that I was starting the station, he says, I want to be a part of it. And I thought he was joking. So I said, nah, come on. And so he called me and says, yeah, I want to be a part of it. So we started up on Mountain Industrial Boulevard, and he actually came into the station. He was living here in Atlanta at the time. And he came into the station every Wednesday to do his show. Because of that, the audience grew because this is Gramps Morgan from Morgan Heritage. So we have, and the residual from that gave us almost 300,000, 400,000 a week in listenership. On top of that, I broadcast in Gambia, broadcast in Senegal, Bermuda, South Florida. So the numbers maintained, as well as Singing Melody, who's another artist, has a radio show on there as well, Deli Wang. So that brings in a lot of numbers, unique hits to the radio station. So I guess I'm lucky to have friends like these who really brings the numbers and listenership to the station. So that's about it. Thank you.
Want to introduce Wayne? Okay. All right, so Reach, like Kazi said, it's a combination of multiple platforms. And so I'll start with just the Facebook, and I was just looking at some recent numbers. I know that the Facebook, we feed it every day, at least 2 to 3 times a day, and that's what the audience love. They're able to come back every day, and it's a different show or a different type of show. And so we got a diverse reach on Facebook. The last check that I saw, it showed 116,000 impressions. And that's in the last 90 days, right? In engagement, over 10,000. In terms of net followers, over 172 net followers. And with the YouTube channel, in terms of views, 111,000 views, different comments, likes. And just was going down what is recent. For the Instagram, over 4,000, it raised by 54%. In total of engagement, 167%. Total net followers, we up 2%, over 13,000 followers. So when I combine over the 100 radio stations, we got 30,000 people tuning in now each week. I wish it could be every day, but at least a year later, it's over 30,000 people. Right, Reds? Over 30,000 people tuning in, and it's in over 100 countries. What I like is that it is consistent. We've been at it just over a year and a couple of months, and we've seen it stay consistent. So we've outgrown, on our hosting platform, we've outgrown our amount of listeners. So they had to bump us up to the next level because of the amount of people that is listening. And we got about 16 live shows that help to feed that number every day. And so with the radio growing, back in our TV, they got 10,000 people watching, I think it's a day. So we got reach throughout the Caribbean. We got reach worldwide on the radio app. And then locally, our Facebook stay consistent. Every day is a show, or every day is 2 to 3 shows. And each show, 400 to 500, some go up to 1,000. But it is growing. And what people are telling me and complimenting us about is our consistency. Right, Rico? They want to see consistency. So we know that we are growing. We are changing and evolving and improving the look, but it is growing.
All right. I'm going to get back to some of these stats, right? And we have one other panelist that we have here that just arrived, right? Coming straight from Birmingham, Alabama, because, you know, this was their carnival weekend, right? Yeah, they got carnival in Birmingham. That's right. In Birmingham. They got carnival. I'm just saying. I ain't cracking. I don't know if anybody here from Birmingham, please. I'm not cracking on you. I'm just saying. You know. But I would be remiss if I brought everybody up the way I brought them up, and I didn't bring up my man Wayne Hall, you know, in similar fashion. You know what I'm saying? Because just like everybody else, Wayne deserves that type of introduction. All right? So DJ Rez, hit me, man.
Trying to mix up the original.
Yeah. All the way from the Wayne Hall Show, Jamaica. Just coming in from Birmingham, Alabama. Right. The man Wayne Hall.
Mix with a ratty, tap them like a rifle. Mix with a shotty, and over them, love the watchy, chatty like a sleeping Tom. Mix with a motor massy, try to mix up the original. caramel, a little coffee. Freaky when she ready, but she know when she feel classy.
Yeah, yeah. Y'all didn't know about my DJ background. Seriously. But my man Wayne Hall, I tell you, I just, like everybody else. So I had to bring, when Wayne come in, I said, yo, head to the DJ booth. I already had it planned. I said, I got to bring you up like everybody else. I just can't let you just come and walk onto the stage, But Wayne, thank you so much. I know you had an active weekend in Birmingham, Alabama, and I thank you for making the panel. But I want you to just, we're gonna continue with the same questions, but we want you to just tell the audience a little bit about Wayne Hall, the Wayne Hall Show, why you got into radio, why the Wayne Hall Show, and just tell us a little bit about your reach and your audience and where they're listening from.
Wayne Hall, Yorton, St. Catherine, Jamaica. Yorton Basic School, Yorton Primary School, GC Foster College, and that's where the radio started. Covering sports, believe it or not. I did a few stints with Radio Jamaican Radio, RJR, work with my mentor, Mr. Bobby Frey, one of the most prolific commentators. And then I had a choice between radio and coming to live with my wife. I literally went and picked up the plane ticket the same day I was offered my dream job at Radio Jamaica as their sports editor. Went home and talked to my dad about it. He said, man, you can always get back into radio. You got to go be with your young wife. Best advice ever. 29, almost 30 years ago. So, fast forward, got here, didn't really fool around much radio. Tried to get it as a teacher also. I focused more on that. But then, when I moved to Atlanta, that need to do something in the community was there. As a person who was part of my community, I'm saying, what can I do? And then it just went back to my radio skills. I'm a certified radio and television personnel, so I did go to broadcast school. And I fell back on that. With the question of what can I do in the community, I said, well, I think there was a need to connect people and to put the unsung persons out there and businesses and services out there and just try to be part of the glue that holds our community together and raises our community as well. And so that's how the Wayne Hall Show was born. My motto is where information meets music. So it's entertaining as well as informing, and it's a good balance. Started 12 years ago on another platform, and then pretty much evolved into where the Wayne Hall Show is now a part of, is now home. Well, the Wayne Hall Show is housed on the Wayne Hall network because I do offer 24-hour streaming and a few radio stations. In terms of reach, I'll start with the most recent. Just picked up 80,000 listeners in Trelawney, Jamaica, through Fit FM, that broadcast is from Stuart Castle, Your Life, Your Music. Social media-wise, the page averages anywhere from 35 to 70,000 monthly hits on the Wayne Hall Show page. And this is just a show, 2 hours a week, Wednesdays 8 to 10. Yeah. But consistently, we're in those numbers. So in terms of reach, so we added that, social media, and some of the top countries, some of the places that listen to the Wayne Hall Show. I got a nice little fan base in a place called Nokia, Japan. Don't ask me how, why. Nokia, Japan. Oh, Japan. Yes, yes. Always getting messages from there, and then recently a lot from Pakistan. Yes, I don't know what it is, but I'm not the Taliban. But anyway, all right. So just to name some of the top countries, the US, UK, Jamaica, Canada, Australia, Pakistan, the Philippines, and also Nigeria is there too in the mix. So just some of the top countries. Cities is New York, Kingston, Atlanta, the UK, London, Accra, Ghana, Nairobi, Kenya. Some of the top places that listen to the Wayne Hall Show. In terms of countries, up to last time I checked, it wasn't past 100, but it was in the 90s. And that's a while ago too. I don't have time for all that. But good reach, but the main essence was to be a part of my immediate community. How can we connect with each other and make ourselves a better place?
I'm just trying to get out of Lawrenceville. I mean, I don't know how far my reach is. You know, I'm just trying to get out of Lawrenceville. You know, I go to Cobb sometimes. I go to DeKalb County sometimes. Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't know who knows me in Pakistan or Croatia.
I meant to add, Mr. Thompson, that my record number of views on Facebook for a post is 18 million. And on YouTube, it's about 80,000 on one particular video. Instagram is struggling a little bit. It's in the high, less than 10,000. But Facebook, where I have a lot of fans and followers, I've managed to have one video clip that has gone as far as 18 million views.
Right. So you've heard of the reach, right? Give them applause, man. Give them an applause. I mean, over 100 countries, right? For some, Croatia, Pakistan. You know, we heard about the countries that these platforms are reaching, the thousands into the millions of people who are listening, tuning in, you know, getting access to these platforms, right? You mentioned Nigeria, right? Yes. I just want to recognize a friend of mine, Miss Elma, who is here from the Niger Delta People's Movement. I just want to recognize Miss Elma, and we're going to hear from her a little bit later because they have a very important business summit coming up on July 26th to the 27th. And I definitely want you to hear what they're doing in order to bring that talent that we have here in the diaspora to the south region of Nigeria, you know. So we're going to hear from her a little bit later. I just wanted to recognize that. So you say your reach is in Nigeria. Yeah. You know, none of my Pakistani peeps ain't show up, but, you know, we're gonna get them a little later. But I'm just saying. So as far as your reach, right, for business owners, right? So you have business owners who want to access the Caribbean market, right? You have non-Caribbean people who want to sell to the Caribbean market. And they may want to reach that market because you guys are the doorway accessing that market, right? That $500 billion I spoke about, those 300,000 Caribbean people here in Georgia, but also throughout the US, right, that are listening to your programs. What arrangements do you have with business owners who are looking to promote their businesses through your platforms, right? And again, we're going to start with the lead-off pitcher, the man Ezzy B.
So my platform, my value proposition is showcasing the hidden gems and more in our communities and beyond. And what does that mean? We got so many great businesses, so many great talents, so many great people in our communities who just don't get the spotlight. Okay, they don't have the exposure to improve their business exposure. They don't have the access, or they think they don't have access, but we are all here. And the objective here is to give these people an opportunity to showcase what they have, whether it's a business, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, whether it's a book, a movie, whatever it is. This is an opportunity to come sit with me in studio to showcase whatever it is that you're offering to the general public.
You said it well, Izzy. And to piggyback off of that, not just, also artists. And I have the wonderful Imar Shepherd in the crowd, who I've had the pleasure of interviewing. So it could be anyone, whatever you have, whatever you're promoting. You could be promoting just healthy eating, as an example. You could be promoting, my show being the promo show. That's what I focus on, promoting the businesses and the artists and whoever my guests are. But also, I'm going to be starting off season 4 doing series of financial health, maybe eating healthier, just trying to change it up a little bit because it's not just about businesses per se. It's also about, living differently and so forth. So all businesses, if you like to advertise, sponsor, we have the availability to do that and to get that reach as well.
But you'll also have an opportunity for those who are in the nutrition space to come and sit with you and discuss different programs and plans, right?
Right, exactly. So any type of space that you are in, there's a lot of people who want to transition into a different space. We have our lovely friend, Miss Lady CMOS. She, talked about leaving corporate America and going into CMOS. So just talking about something that is different that you're passionate about. There's so many different ways, but the platforms are here to be able to do that.
Yeah, so in terms of our value proposition, so as I mentioned earlier, our primary audience is American. And the dynamic we've set up in the studio is my co-host is a savvy American from Brooklyn who knows our audience. And I'm the obtuse, Caribbean person who does not want to learn about American culture. But because of that dynamic, we set up conversations so people get a look behind the scenes as to what Caribbean culture really is. And we're able to do some deep dive conversations about things that matter to our community. So that helps us to give exposure to different people, whether it's artists, whether it's businesses, but help them to join the conversation with us, which is really helpful. Of course, with us having as much reach as we have, there's a lot of exposure that comes from that. And then we try to take it a step further with repetition of our messages. So whether it's ads, whether it's putting it up on social media, whatever it is, we try to keep that exposure train rolling.
I think I said it earlier. My purpose, my value is was to provide a voice to the voiceless. Because there's so many unknown heroes and sheroes, thrivers and strivers in our community that go through so much, rising phoenixes, that go through so much and we don't know, or they're starting a business. I remember, I'll go back to 106 because we could be in studio and, guests would come in. And I remember people like the Cake Man or Tell All Inc., those people who were just starting off, and now you look at them and the Cake Man's at every single event, Lady Moss Boss's, 6-figure income in 6 months. It just has allowed, with Caribbeanlifetv, all the radio, the value, I'll be a little arrogant, I'm the value. Rosolo is the value. I am the product, it is my brand. You come and I represent my brand. I am the Phoenix. And I'm a pretty good interviewer. Actually, I'm a great interviewer, and that's the value you'll find in my show. And I will allow you to speak authentically. I will allow you to speak authentically about yourself, your business, your journey. No matter what you want to talk about, we can talk about it and have a captivating conversation. And that's why I'm going to post captivating conversations on YouTube coming up soon. Here you go.
That's true. She's a great interviewer. I love you, Ro. So I think the value... yes, me, the brand Red Carpet Shelley. I've been doing this for 15 years, so I feel that I am a trusted brand. But WRFG, Ro has mentioned being the voice of the voiceless. That is actually part of our mission statement. And for a very long time, Caribbean Runnings was the only Caribbean programming on the FM dial here in Atlanta. So if anyone wanted to get a message out to anyone in the Caribbean community, especially before these technological advances with podcasting and streaming and all that, you came to Caribbean Runnings. We were the place you wanted to come to reach that Caribbean market. And we still remain one of the places that you need to come to reach the Caribbean market, because now more than ever, independent media is extremely important, especially when you consider the large consolidation of the media space that's happened over the past decade. The voice of the voiceless is very important. So when there's a hurricane in St. Thomas, and where I'm from, and it's a Category 5 back-to-back, they may report it in mainstream media for a day or two, but these people are still suffering months later. we are the place that's going to still be covering these kind of relevant topics to the Caribbean. So that's our value added for Red Carpet Jelly and Caribbean Runnings in particular, and WRFG, the voice of the voiceless.
Thank you, Red Carpet. One of the unique things about my platform is that in 02, 03, I started a website called thereggaescene.com. With that website, I was able to collect over 30,000 subscribers that I send 2 emails / email blasts every week to that features the upcoming events. So in that email also I have my radio platform with the links that people can log on. So that's where I get a lot of my hits from as well. I also recently started, about 4 years ago, I started a podcast called Take 5 with Rico Vibes. And on that, I was able to feature some folks who had mental issues. Mental health is very important to me. I had family members who died because of mental health because they didn't get diagnosed early enough. And so that's very important to me. And so I got to shout out to this one guy called Richie, who average normal looking person when you see him in the clubs and stuff. And he happened to say, I want to come on your program to talk about it. Because us as men, we don't talk about mental health, especially Caribbean people. And so it's very important to me because, again, my family suffers from that. And so I think if we all can, as panelists, if we all can have folks on the radio that features that and tell you what they go through, that would be vitally important. So that's something that I'm very passionate about, and I'm happy that I have the platform to feature that and to give people an outlook and let people know that it's not taboo. You can talk about it.
All right, and Lawrence, I want you to hit on that Roku, right, when you talk about other things too, because folks need to know that you're the access to television, and it's television streaming, so I want you to hit that. Yep.
Thanks, Austin. Rico, I'm glad that you brought up mental health. I think once we started focusing on different radio programs, Ro actually interviewed a few folks. We used to bring in Samantha Samuels, the former president of the Caribbean Association of Georgia, and she's in that mental health space. And she was able to bring a few people with her to talk about mental health in our community. And it was so impactful. I remember doing a TV show here, and it was addressing a whole bunch of issues regarding mental health. And I was advised to have a mental health professional on set, just in case, because that is an emotional journey for that person as well. So thank you for bringing that up, because what is good, the examples exist amongst us. And I'm glad that we could glean from each other when it comes to certain topics. And so for Caribbean Life Radio, we focused on a variety of shows that allow people, whether it's politicians, whether it's people reviewing books, talking about mental health. In this room alone, we got about 4 people that have shows on Caribbean Life Radio. So it's very impactful for us to be diverse in not only our reach, but our subject matter. And one of the things that Austin had prompted me to talk about is where we going with this on TV. So now that I have, I got to talk, we have a channel on Bacchanal TV where you can sit in your home and consume Caribbean Life TV. We are now very responsible about what content, the value that we're adding to that community as well, because it's regional now. And so mental health, talking about men and going to the doctor. And so we've had Sharon in the back, she's brought on financial literacy quite often. And she's in that space, and she's been able to curate a whole bunch of conversations about that. So the transition now is to have Caribbean Life TV have its own channel. It's okay to be on someone else's platform, but we're in the middle of building our own Roku channel to the point that it stands alone. And Roku's worldwide, right? And so what we're doing is not only making it diverse in terms of the subject matter, but we also have a second arm that is coming. So we will be addressing anything to do with the kingdom side. So for all your religious folks, we will have programming all day for the folks that want to consume motivational, inspirational, religious content separate from what we're doing. So we wanted to make sure that you know that with Caribbean Life TV, we are recognizing that there's some people that might not want carnival or fete or performances. They might want that side as well. So thank you for talking about that. That's in the next quarter that's coming online, is currently being built. So if you know someone that is a pastor or have a church or on the inspirational side, please see me after, because it's 24 hours, 7 days a week, and there's a lot of content to curate. So we're extremely open and receptive to your conversations about what that looks like for you.
So the Wayne Hall Show has the motto, where information meets music. And what this allows me to do is to be boundless in terms of who I attract on the platform. I'm also a registered behavior technician that do private therapy with children with autism. And so in terms of the mental health and all that, I've had just about every kind of individual you could in these 12 years to interview on different subjects. We have had Miss Lorraine on to talk about that, but we've also had doctors come on and talk about different kinds of issues, men and women. I've had Dr. Chris Parker talk about his experience with prostate cancer from the perspective of a physician. And I've also had, in these 12 years, we've had the rising reggae artists that I like to support, because everybody starts somewhere. And we've had the superstars. You know, you name them, they've all at one point or another been on the Wayne Hall Show's platform. However, one of the things that gives me most joy is when the people that are immediately around me can feel like I'm of value. The Atlanta Jamaican Association, the Trinidadian Association, the promoter putting on a play, the promoter putting on a show, a reggae show or whatever, you know, they are all aware that there is a platform that's approachable, that they can come and have that all handled. I do have, other than radio, and I know this is about media, a website, autismparentsupport.com, that focuses on supporting parents of children with autism. And that came out of a result of conversations. I've featured autism a lot on my show, that I've had on the show, and that's how that was born too. So it segued into that. But it's a platform for everyone. Ministers, politicians, lawyers, doctors, they've all come through the doors or the channels of the Wayne Hall Show.
That's right. And I want to say Wayne actually interviewed the now district attorney for Gwinnett County, Patsy Austin Gatson. And I want to say that you contributed to her success, Wayne, because she came onto your program. It was the same night I was being interviewed. Yeah. They followed me. Right. You know, when you were in that building, you know. And Patsy Austin Gatson is the first African-American to hold the position of district attorney in Gwinnett County, and she just got reelected. So Wayne, you know, you're responsible for that. And I also brought members of our African community to promote different events for African Immigrant Heritage Month and other African-related events, and Rose Solo and Ezzy and Kazi, you know, they were part of that, you know, helping to bridge the African community and the Caribbean community. And as we, you know, move to the gateway to what is now the African Caribbean Community Summit, which is an annual event. All right, so, you know, we are really moving forward in that direction on how we're adding value, right, as Caribbean media, not just to Caribbean nationals, Caribbean businesses, but also to the African community and the African community and the non-Caribbean community as a whole. And before I move on to the next question, I just want to make note that Ezzy B and Kazzy B are not related, just in case you were wondering. Just in case you were wondering. All right, so now I'm moving on to the next question. Because, folks, Ezzy B, I'm just saying, man. Yeah. All right. So why are more businesses and organizations not utilizing these platforms in greater volumes? And what is needed to improve or advance this? We heard all the wonderful statistics, the reach, the audiences, but somehow I feel, and you correct me if I'm mistaken, somehow I feel that, we're not reaching, the community is not reaching you in the volumes that they need. So who wants to take that? Ezzy's anxious. Ezzy's anxious. Our leadoff pitcher.
Actually, Ezzy wants, yeah, we all want the mic on this.
Ezzy with the letter B, not B-E-E. All right, so.
Well, I think there's a misconception of the cost of access to advertising on media. I think media has changed over the years with access, whether it's on social media, whether it's on YouTube, whatever the case may be. It's still radio, which is primarily where I started as well. But I think the way we operate now, we create an avenue for people, not the Fortune 500 companies only, but for the mom and pops in our communities. Everyone thinks that you have to spend $10,000 to promote your business. For example, if you come to the Ezzy Spotlight studio, not only can you sit there and talk to me as an individual, okay? The bottom line is you're not sharing that space or that time with another guest. This is your allotted slot, okay? So just like you go down the street, you can talk to somebody about the services you provide or the products you sell. Well, you can just talk to me, and this is your segment, which you can probably recycle because it stays, remember, it streams live. So it stays on YouTube, it stays on Facebook, and rather than you have to tell everyone the same thing over and over again, well, we already answered those questions. You can just repurpose or reshare that. But also, another thing you can do is it's visual. It's no longer audio. Mm-hmm. So when you take a break, do my conversations, just like you watch TV, you actually can get a video promo on the Ezzy Spotlight podcast. Okay? But at the same time, it doesn't hurt to ask. You just never know how much value or how much it's going to cost you. You might be surprised. It might be pennies on the dollar. Because at the end of the day, we have to add a value to the services we provide because it costs. Many of us, I'm pretty sure Mr. Rico Vibes and Lawrence can tell you having an overhead is not easy. And as a former radio personality who actually owned my own platform for 10 and a half years before I sold it, trust me, it's an expensive cost.
Yes, it is. It's definitely expensive. The lights are on, but they have to stay on. So in terms of the value, I recently had someone in the last year said to me, why should I come on your show? Someone's calling. I can always go live on Facebook. And my response to that was, of course, we can all go live on Facebook, but what we're doing is we're giving you something that is structured, it is consistent, it's something that you can repurpose, as you said. I've had people who've put my segments on their websites, and so it's very much, sorry, that is the artist who's performing at 7, so I will take the call in a second. But, it's very much, we offer a service, and we're not getting paid for this. This is voluntary. So at the end of the day, time is money, for what we're asking in terms of a donation or a fee in exchange for coming on the platform and promoting your business where you would then make extra sales. It's all about kind of, turning that money around. So, we offer so much value on all of the platforms. You've heard about the reach. Working in the community together, we could all win. We can all win if we work together.
I love that point Cassie made about us working together. I think To answer your question, Austin, the biggest thing is us recognizing that we are each other's allies, whether it's media panelists, whether it's businesses in the community. Like, it's a symbiotic system for this to succeed, right? So we need businesses to come to our media platforms, advertise, and then we have the groundswell of supporting each other and making sure we amplify our message out there. I think part of that, in terms of being each other's allies, is recognizing that there needs to be some grace to the point about budgets, etc. You know, you're not going to have, as Shelley mentioned earlier, a cumulus budget to create advertisements, let's say. But let's give each other grace in terms of what we put out there and make sure whatever we put out there is supported by every single person. I think that's where we will have a major impact.
Yes, yes, feel free to applaud. Yes.
For me, well, I'll give a story. Can I give a story? So I did a panel for Austin recently, a business panel. And if you haven't checked out Austin's business panel, they're very informative. This was about sustaining wealth in our Caribbean community. Great panel. And one of the things we spoke about is us not supporting each other until it becomes popular to support each other. But see, some of us, like our Rose Solo, the Phoenix Show, the new brands, the promo show, we need y'all to support us from the very beginning. From when we set that foundation and we say, we have this platform for you, if we provide you value, you know, if we give you everything that we said we were gonna give you, then help support us, right? So we did this and we had this conversation, and right after the call, I received a call because we put all our information up, and I received a call from a lady. And if the person's in the room, I'm so sorry. You know, I'll come and shake your hand later, but true story. And she said, you know, you did so well. I'd like to use you for an event. Right? Remember this? I said, okay, no problem. I'm excited now, like, ooh, got a job, right? She says, but I don't have a budget. So, and it's a nonprofit event. Remember, we just got off a whole 2-hour event talking about at least trying to put something into each other. If you go to a bookstore and it's black owned, try and buy a book. If you go, you know, Lady Moss Boss, try and buy a juice, whatever you can, something little. Sometimes it's not fun. You could share a post and help promote. And the person said to me, I don't have a budget. It's a nonprofit event and I don't have a huge budget. And I said, okay, that's understandable. That's understandable. I understand that. So let's discuss, you know, what you don't have a budget, what can you provide for the services? I can't provide anything. Well, neither can I. And that was the first time I said no, neither can I. Neither can I. And I think I used to say yes so much because I wanted to do it, right? I just want, and you can ask Lawrence and you can ask Ezzy, and Kazi's seen it too. I was tired. And this lady looked at me one day and said, we see you. You're doing it. You got it. She said, but you don't have to do too much. She said, we see you. And just understand that what you're doing for the community is good enough. And that's when I had to stop and appreciate what I give to the community and learn to value myself. So we have to learn to support each other. I think I'm piggybacking off of what Marissa said, okay? We have to learn to support each other. And it's not just about coming and asking us to come to your event to provide you with the service. It's also about helping us sustain our business. These are our businesses. We want to share our community. We want to grow our business just like a 103.3 V1, because you're going to pay them if you want a commercial.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you do.
You're going to pay them if you want a commercial. So, you know, come help support us as well. That's all I have. Thank you for my story.
Oprah Winfrey said no is a complete sentence. And if we don't recognize our value as Caribbean media outlets, no one else will. So we have to first recognize our value. I agree. Oftentimes in our community, unfortunately, we don't recognize our values. And WRFG is great because we bring people on there all the time. We're nonprofit anyway. Come on the program. But we survive because of the contributions of our listeners. So oftentimes when it's our fund drive, you have people on here that put on these big shows, bring in the biggest artists, And when I said, can you give her $20, please? It's hard. It's hard. So yeah, we do need the support. It costs. It costs for me to travel to your event. I don't care if it's in Georgia. McDonough is far from Marietta, where I live. So even if you can't pay me, buy me some gas. You're having a festival where you have vendors selling food. Offer me a plate of food. It's that simple. But I even want to move back to the original, some of the challenges that you mentioned, why we aren't utilized more. I think it's also, there's an issue when you're talking about large advertisers, let's say like a Cumulus, right? So the Caribbean demographic is often being viewed as just a part of the African-American demographic. So no one wants to, because I approached someone at V103 about that before and others, and that's what I've been told in terms of advertising. No one really wants to specifically break out the Caribbean market, and not enough advertisers want to. So to speak to who said about advertising on V103, we'll see that often. It's a Caribbean event, a Caribbean artist or whatever, and they're advertising on V103, yet we have a whole collective of Caribbean media here, and they won't spend $1 with us. But you can't go on V103 and ask them to play your ad for no money, because that's not going to happen. Okay? So I think part of, when I talk about issues and problems, I want to discuss solutions, right? And one of the things, I know I've talked about this with Lawrence for years, but I've never made it happen, is I do feel that there should be a collective of Caribbean media here, unified together. So when someone says, I want to advertise my show, you're buying a collective of media outlets. It's not just going to be on my platform. It's not just going to be on your platform, on his platform. It's going to be a whole collective of platforms that is going to reach a wider audience. And I think that's part of the solution, is for us right here to unify with other Caribbean media outlets, starting here in Atlanta and maybe throughout the US, maybe throughout the world, but we have to begin to build a Caribbean media collective.
That's a good point. One of the things I think we need to do is to educate that potential advertiser. A lot of times, they think that if you advertise for a week, you're going to see instant results. And normally that's not the case. And so I've had people over the years who say, I'll take a week spot, I'll take 2 weeks, a month, and see very little response. Let me shout out to Red Hills Jerk Center. They've been advertising with me and one of my sponsors on the Flavor Radio for 12 years. They've seen the value of it because it's consistent, it's longevity, so they've done it. Very few folks in our community understand that, and I think that's where we come in collectively to educate them as to what to expect, how long you think it may take. Of course, if you're advertising for 2 years, 3 years, and you see no results, of course, forget it. But we need to educate them as well and be responsible and sit them down and educate them as to what to expect. 1 week is not going to work. 2 weeks is not going to work. The other thing I want to say is that support means cutting a check. Support doesn't mean showing up to your event or, as Joe Solar says, doing it for free. It means, however small it is, cut that check. Don't show up to my event and say, I'm supporting you, but you won't ask me for a complimentary ticket. That's not support. I can do without that support. So again, we need to educate each other as to what it means to support each other as Caribbean nationals and as media nationals, because a lot of them don't really know, and that's where we come in.
Great point, Rico. I wanted to piggyback on some of the things that the young lady said earlier. I think it was Ro, before I get to Shelley. Know your value. I remember starting out, and Wayne was there when I started because I had a conversation with you. And you warned me, and Ezzy warned me about our community and So when I was free, everyone wanted Caribbeanlifetv to show up at their event. Right, Ro? Right, Shelley? Yep. Right, Ezzy? And they would request us to come, and Rico would know about this, give you full access. But they're at the door getting $50, $60, $80 per ticket, and wouldn't give you a bottle of water. These ladies have to get made up, and they wait for hours. We waited at one big show, and it's 2 in the morning, and the artist is in the dressing room, and we just want an interview because that's why we were there. And nothing. Year over year, from the time I started, we've been putting in giving to this community for $0, not even a bottle of water. And the minute that we decide to start charging, crickets. All of a sudden, you know what they said? You too big now. Yeah. So some folks have recognized the overhead and had a conversation differently. But I'll say something, and I want to salute Austin Thompson, Jr., because I was part of an organization that hired me, and he was around. And I've been treated very well with this organization. Every time that I submitted an invoice or they asked me to do something, they paid me. But one of the things that Austin pulled me to the side, he said, know your value. Call your price. For me, if I can't do it, I'm going to tell you I can't do it. And Austin has hired me to cover his business summit at Gwinnett County College, video and photography. And you know what he said? Call your price. If I can't afford it, I'll let you know. And what is good is that just hearing that, it was a privilege and an honor to work, and this is before a studio. It was a privilege and honor to be a part of something where he was giving to small businesses throughout the region, and it was a whole bunch of folks. And he just said, call your price. So what we've started to do now is call our price. When they come for advertising, this is their price. I like what Shelley said, and you are correct. Me and Shelley had this conversation years because I felt that her longevity in the business, leading that group or organization with Marissa, would be something powerful for voters, for a politician that wants our vote. Let me say it the right way. Because there was a person that saw me yesterday and they remembered I wore a shirt that said, this Caribbean immigrant, this Caribbean American immigrant votes. And we were at the Barack Obama rally at Morehouse College downtown. And it was saying such a powerful statement because we come and we assimilate or get acclimated, and we are Americans and we are voters, but we are also Caribbean. And united, we could now say to a business that now this is millions of reach sitting on this panel. And we're all from all different Caribbean countries, and we have that value. But once we organize, like what Shelley said, and that value is articulated to a politician, to a business owner, they will see us different, I think. So I like that we are talking about organizing, talking about compiling and consolidating our collective reach, and then selling that back to a potential investor, advertiser, or person trying to promote something, right? So when Austin was running for office, what I like is that he came and asked me to do his campaign video, and I did it. But then I was there to be able to see him getting sworn in as a city councilman for the beautiful city of Lawrenceville. And when I did that, I lived in Fayetteville. And here's what the true story is. Now, Austin Thompson is my direct representative in the city of Lawrenceville. He is my councilman. So I end up moving to Lawrenceville and moving into his district and post. So he's my direct representative in government. Imagine if I didn't put him in, help him to get into office. Look how it worked. So you are correct, and now it came full circle, where you're bringing value back and bringing us together now to add value back to this community. That's a powerful thing.
All right. Very interesting. Start in our own backyard. A king is with honor saving his own country. You want everything I have worked hard for, but you won't even give me a ticket to your event. You want to come on the Wayne Hall show, and I'm going to sit for 10 minutes, give you a structured conversation aimed at persuading my audience that I worked hard to build, but you refuse to give me a ticket to enter your event. So I said no. And I won't apologize for that. I worked hard at what I did to make it what it is. I'm not sure everyone understands the options we have as Caribbean media. So, you know, the suggestion that a coming together would be good is a great one. The challenge there is going to be, okay, what's the split sheet going to look like? Right?
It was my idea.
So we can't let Shelley determine the split sheet. See, we already have an issue there. What's the split sheet going to look like? And with our egos, we're media people, let's be honest, we all have this ego. Why should I take a split of $50 when if I go around there and call the man later and tell him, look, man, Wayne Hall show, I can do it for 300, man. You don't need to spend 1,000 for them to split them up. So, yeah, no, I'm keeping this real. I'm keeping this real. I get the callbacks. I get the, but, oh, I talk, you know. So, some community members almost feel like it's your duty, and it really isn't. Let me volunteer, but don't dictate to me that I promote your event or cover your event as you see fit for zero. All right? Education of our clients in terms of what it takes to do what we do. It's all good to come here and sit down and say we have this reach. But who knows what it took, the sacrifices. I always say there's just one thing I won't sacrifice, and it's family. And I get the calls all the time where if I were to put family next behind radio, I would probably be somewhere right now as one of the biggest radio celebrities, but without a family, right? Or the family I wanted. So everything is at a price and a value, and we need to educate, you know. Also, one of the things I'm always conscious of when a promoter or an advertiser approaches me, I show sensitivity to the fact that I do not have the entire audience that you need. So you can come to the Wayne Hall show, and I guarantee you that in a 4-week period, 35 to 50,000 people will see your product. Now, are they in the area you're marketing it? Maybe not. But I'm sensitive to the fact that CLTV radio is going to connect you with some I won't. Ezzy B will, Red Carpet Shelley, Kazi. And so I'm saying to you, I'll take this much because I can't give you the entire audience. You should have enough left in your budget when I'm done to go spend with my counterparts. Yeah. Another thing I've done, and they'll testify to it, I've picked up the phone and say, hey, I've made a connection with an event. They're looking for sponsors. Ezzy, how much? And other radio persons, how much? And try to do it as one. And most times they don't end up doing it. They don't want to hear it. So I'm supposed to get you on Ezzy and Rico and Shelley's show and mine for the same thing that if it was just mine. It doesn't work like that. I got to respect these other people's hard work. And so we need to, you know, appreciate and understand that. So present our value openly, honestly. And we just might, as Shelley said, have to have some kind of collective effort that will help to form a base for people to go to and know they got this kind of reach and diversity in our audience.
Yeah, thank you. And you know, just as they have faced it in radio, I have faced it as a business consultant. I've had people who come to me, sit down at Panera or Starbucks, you know, and in the beginning, I didn't really charge for my time, right? Because, you know, I've had a couple of attorney friends say, you need to start charging for your time. Just like, you know, I told Lawrence, you know, because sometimes I preach, but I don't practice what I preach, you know. And I started doing that, but before, they would sit down for 2 hours, you know, and they want a business plan done with research for this, that. But man, all I got is like $300. Yeah. I can get you the summary. I can get you the cover page. I mean, you know, I'm sorry, I can't help you. No, I can't tell you how many times that has happened to me. You know, they want marketing analysis done for a service or a product. They don't have any money, but they want to come and spend 2 hours with you and, you know, try to discuss with you what they need. I had a gentleman, even, it was like early December, sat down with him at the Starbucks on Pike Street and brought me a drawing of some land he wants to purchase. He wants to purchase the land and build this building. He wants to bring me in as the project manager. And I know you do this, I know you do that, and you have all the experience, blah, blah, blah. And literally, I was sitting there like, yeah, waiting for it, right? I was waiting for it. So at the conclusion of the conversation, he's like, well, yeah, you know, you just send me your invoice, you know. He said, oh, sorry. I said, I'll send you the invoice. A couple of days later, I called him, and he said, yeah, man, I'm going to get the money. And at the end of the conversation, he asked to borrow money from me. Needless to say, that was the last time we had the conversation. Because, I mean, you're telling me you have all this money, you want to build this grandiose project and buy this land, right? You have this money that you're going to pay me, you want me to invoice you, but now you want money from me. You know, so yeah, I get the same thing. You know, I get people that want a business plan, marketing, they want this, that, and the other. Sit down and do a P&L, you know, for them, but they have no money to pay, you know, because you know your value, right? But they don't see the value that you bring to them, or that you can bring to them, you know. And I tell you, it's something when you finally learn to put your foot down, because you know, I've been separated from corporate since 2022, or since March 22. I have not worked a W-2, and I'm slowly building my consulting business and rebranding myself. And now I'm really putting my foot down because I got to pay the bills. You know, I have to go after the money now. Before, hey, I had a steady paycheck, you know, and I did consulting on the side, whatever. But now, bruh, you need to really put your foot down now, you know, to keep the bills paid. So yeah, at some point, you know, you reaffirm the value you bring to the market and what you're doing. All right, so we got about a half hour, and we got a few more questions, and then we're going to get to the Q. I want to open up, because I know you guys have questions, right? That doesn't sound like everybody. I know you guys got questions, right? Yeah, all right. And then they got some people out in the audience that I want to recognize, and then and just have them say who they are for a few minutes and what they're doing, because it's really important in our community. All right? So now, the next question, I want to get to this, and thank you so much for all that you have said so far. What has changed in the last 5 years in media or radio, right? You know, we always try, as radio personalities, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we all pay attention to trends. What is trending? What is the latest trends? You know, what is the latest wave that we're riding to bring success or drive success our way? So what has changed in the last 5 years in radio or in the media, right, that you guys have recognized? Who wants to start off?
Well, we now call WRFG in our circle terrestrial radio. Because it's a traditional broadcast radio station. Mm-hmm. Oh, and we do now stream. But the biggest change over the last few years, obviously, has been the change to on-demand media, radio, podcasts, even on-demand television shows. You know, back in the day when I was growing up, if we wanted to watch the Jeffersons, we all had to sit in front of the TV at whatever time it came on, and that was the only time we were going to see that episode, or you weren't going to see it at all. And when I started on Caribbean Runnings, every Friday, 2 to 4 p.m., 89.3 FM, your station for progressive information and hand-picked music.
Uh-oh.
You had to you 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 had to tune in from 2 to 4 to catch the show, or you missed it. So the biggest change, is the internet and technology has revolutionized the media consumption and how consumers consume media. And basically now it's on demand. You have a plethora of podcasts. Radio stations have now, of course, they can't ignore it, so they're streaming as well. They have their own podcasts as well. So that's the biggest change. And let's not even forget the technology like Alexa and Google and Echo. So you could just say, Alexa, play Bob Marley, whatever. So we are consuming our media in very, very different ways.
That's right, because when you come for an interview here at CLTV, Cassie's sitting in front of like 20 phones. She's got like 20 phones in front of her, and each phone is on a different platform, so she's reaching different audiences, but I'm just, hey, see, she confirmed. So pick it up, Cassie. Pick it up.
Okay, so another thing that has changed is that, as Shelley said, most people don't tend to watch the live for too long. They'll come on for a few minutes, they'll go off, they'll come back on again. But when you look at the numbers afterwards, they're watching the replays. We look at the insights, and they're constantly watching the replays. They will go back to a week ago and watch, one of your shows and so forth. So not because there's not a lot of people watching the live, don't think a lot of people aren't watching. They are. They're going to keep going back, and it stays. You can repurpose a lot of the shows, a lot of the videos. You can put it on your website. You can have it for years to come. And it's there, to review as time goes on.
I think in addition to everything that was mentioned, social media has leveled the playing field. So everybody has a platform, to Shelley's point, which means there's a lot of competition to get people's attention. So you really have to put out unique content, and more importantly, short form content, because most people don't want to digest more than a minute or 5 minutes. So you have to find ways to keep it engaging. To Kazi's point, make sure that people could come back and consume what you put out there. But yeah, there's a lot of competition for attention.
Yeah.
One of the biggest advantages of social media is that we get to reach out to people we haven't talked to in years, or we get to reach out to people all over the world. But there's disadvantages. Everybody think that they're a star, that they can do it themselves. Yeah. So they feel that they don't need us to promote anything for them. They can do it themselves. The other side of that coin is that even when you talk to artists, no offense to the artists in the building, they feel that they don't need radio anymore, because they can now get their own YouTube channel and upload their music and promote it themselves. Terrestrial radio, as Shelley says, is vitally important. I mean, I remember growing up in New York in the 80s, we had, what was it, WLIB?
WLIB.
Yeah, right. And Ken Williams and those guys. And we used to wake up on a Saturday morning and be glued to the radio.
Yes.
I don't even have a radio in my car anymore. So I understand people think that radio is not important, but if you talk to any artist who knows the value of radio, they'll tell you, you still need radio, you still need us as radio personalities, you still needed us to hype that particular song or that particular product. So one of the problems is social media, but I think we can overcome that by making sure that we make sure that we know what we're doing and what we're selling on social media.
Exactly. I just want to make one quick point. I always tell people, if you need your house paint, hire a professional painter. Yeah, you could pick up the brush, get some paint from Home Depot. It might not look the way the professional will make it look. You can fix your plumbing. You have a plumbing problem, but hire a professional plumber. You might be able to do your taxes on your own, but you don't pay attention to the changing laws of the IRS like a CPA. Mr. Marcus Gordon, you could attest to that, right? So advertising, yeah, you could do Facebook ads, you can do TikTok and do all kinds of stuff. But let me tell you something, these are the professionals who pay attention to the trends and the access and are the doorway to the market you're trying to reach. Let the professionals do what they do, all right? So go ahead.
I wanted to, we talking about how it's changed.
Trends.
And on any given day, each show is streamed on Podcast FM. So if you're a podcaster, you could consume any of our shows on Podcast FM. So that's one. Then on top of that, we got a YouTube channel. You could see it there. Then we on TV, on Bacchanal TV, you could see it there. We on Facebook, you could see it there. And we are on the radio app in over 100 countries. And it's all happening at the same time. So with one show in one room, it's going to 5 different platforms, multiplying real quick, real fast, simultaneously and effortlessly. That's how fast technology is growing. And there's other platforms where we could keep it to 5. Because we could also do it on Instagram. But we wanted to not diverse the audience too much. But technology is really setting the trend now.
You can go to the next question, Austin. You can get next question.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, did Wayne, did you?
Did Wayne have something
Did you
to
want
say?
something to say on that? The trends?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mr. Wayne Hall.
Yes, absolutely, sir. At the heart of change in radio is the internet, obviously. So an app can deliver what the dial used to do, right? You can just hit the Wayne Hall Show app now, and voila, you're hearing radio, right? You used to have to go tune your dial to hear that. You can watch your presenter. You know, you can go on social media. I simulcast on 10 radio stations, but then I have social media. You can watch me on YouTube, Restream, and Facebook, and also on my page, thewayneallshow.com. So you can watch your presenters. Now, content has taken a hit. We used to have a time when you would sit back, relax, and just listen for that replay of an entire event. Now, all we want to see is a 30-second reel.
Yes.
A 1-minute reel, and that's the highlight, and that's what people are gone with. That's going viral, but what about the old goodness of the entire show? And believe it or not, even the kind of music, those who rely heavily on the internet, has shaped the very kind of music they play and promote because of copyright issues that you never had when you had mainstream radio. You go in with a record, they're registered, it's played, the royalty goes where it's supposed to go. Now there's people with all kinds of issues trying to play songs on Facebook, YouTube, and getting copyright hits. So that too, and so they shy away from music that they probably could have played to play music that they wouldn't. And then the advertising dollars now has to stretch because we have more radio stations, more radio options than we ever did before between the internet and mainstream radio combined. And then it's the same marketing community, the same advertising community. So now marketing dollars are stretched more.
And we got everybody on that segment? We got everybody? Shelly, since you have the mic, what does success look like to you as Red Carpet Shelly, managing the brand, running the show, Caribbean Runnings on 89.3. What does success look like to you?
Success for me is this, being in my element with my Caribbean community, promoting my Caribbean heritage, my Caribbean culture. That is success. And one of the reasons why I started this was not only just to promote my culture amongst us, because we're all Caribbeans, right? But for people outside of our community to know what our contributions are in this country and throughout the diaspora. That's what success is for me. I want, if I died tomorrow, I put it on my, she helped to let the world know about the Caribbean culture. That's it.
Right. Go ahead, next. Roll. What is success? Yeah. Ezzy, what does success look like to you?
All right. So success to me, of course, guys, like I said before, I've owned a platform for 10.5 years, and I'm probably one of the few people in Atlanta or in the metro area to build a platform big enough to sell it. All right? But also, it also gave me an opportunity to give a lot of people an opportunity to make their dreams or to turn their dreams into a reality. There are a lot of people who wanted to be on a platform, who wanted to start into media or radio, DJ. I've placed people on big stages. Now, many of you guys may not know Ezzy because as a Caribbean, I don't get a lot of Caribbean events, even as a DJ, for whatever the reason. Now, if you see me at a Caribbean event, for example, it's because I'm using my platform to give back to my Caribbean community. You may see me donate my services or partially donate my services to the CAG, the Caribbean Association of Georgia. You may see me do the Caribbean Heritage Month celebration, which Kazibi and I were supposed to be hosting on the 1st of June as a host and as a DJ. So you see a lot of those things. But at the same time, I've given a lot of people so many opportunities behind the scenes, and support other businesses behind the scenes is crazy. But however, this is what success is to me. It's not about the monetary benefits, but giving people an opportunity to succeed and to contribute back to our community.
We're not answering that? Oh. What Shelly said. What Shelly said. So females always what Shelly said. I agree. I think Shelly did say it. It's doing this. It's being able to have our voice heard, and the ability, like as he said, to give back to the community. I love doing this. I hate my 9 to 5. I'm not lying to anybody. If my 9 to 5 involved media, then I would love my 9 to 5. My 9 to 5 provides what I need to sustain my lifestyle. I would love, my success would be for Phoenix Radio and the Phoenix Media platform to be able to sustain my life through giving back to the community. That's success for me. But right now, I'm happy where I am, and I will continue to enjoy it and grow with it. But yeah, it's like Shelly said, if I died today, I wouldn't be disappointed in where I am right now in media. I think I did a pretty good job so far, so yeah.
So one of the things for me when I started my platform was seeing how much access there was to funds in my corporate journey that the Caribbean community was not tapping into. And I wanted to be a bridge in terms of giving us access to that. So to answer the question about what success looks like to me is for us as a Caribbean community, positioning all of our brands, whether it's media, whether it's businesses, whatever it is, in a globally competitive way where we could access all the funds that are available out there. Part of doing that is making sure we quantify who we are, what we do, what we contribute. As Austin said earlier, what was it, 500 billion? Like, it's a lot of money that they could access with our community. So making sure that we quantify our input. And then the last thing would be just building on each other's strengths, because what I see a lot in our community is we have a lot of people doing great things, and then somebody else will come and reinvent the wheel versus build on what's been there. And I think if we get to that point where we build on what's established, we'll get a lot further. So to me, that would also be a measure of success.
Success for me, for 20 years I was a paralegal in New York City, and that's what got me a bald head and got me gray. I got up one day and just quit cold turkey. Was fortunate enough to make good money, I had a savings, but I just didn't want to do it anymore. I did it originally because my dad sent me to school and he wanted to see his money's worth. But I was always into media, I was always into entertainment. For me, success means seeing people like yourself giving you something of value, giving you something that I think that educates you in what I do. And so for me, even with the, what I said earlier, with the mental health, being able to offer a platform so you can share your feelings and your journey with other folks, that's success to me. My dad always taught me that, if you're going to do something, do it from the heart. The money will come, but do it from the heart. A lot of us don't have that opportunity to do that. We have to go after the money. I get that. I'm not naive to that. But do it from the heart. As Caribbean media personnel, we all love our culture. We love our culture. So do whatever you're going to do from your heart, and whatever values, whatever riches is going to come with it.
Man, this is a hard act to follow. But I'll say this. Marissa, you said it best. I think instead of reinventing the wheel, to build from what is already there. I know that I got blessed coming into the business because you guys existed. I started being around Caribbean Focus TV with Jacques Duplessis, right? And you know that he was out here before I was. And I remember being on the board of directors for the Caribbean Association of Georgia over 10 years ago. And the Wayne Hall, what was it called then? Was it the Wayne Hall show when you and all you guys used to come and cover the Caribbean Festival down in McDonough?
It's actually, we worked on the Reggae Vibes radio. So you had the Wayne Hall show. DJ Reds was on that platform. At one point, actually, the Wayne Hall show was on 106 Live with Ezzy. There was Reds on Reggae Vibes end of it, but we'd all go out together and work together and cover events, yeah.
And so I met them 2010, 2011, and they were the media. And it's only at Carnival 2 weeks ago when Wayne Hall, Reds, Courtney,
Ezzy, yeah.
they all took a picture together, and I didn't know that they all worked together, right? And it's 2 weeks ago. But the reason why I wanted to add to what Marissa said is about reinventing. All of this stuff existed before me. And so I was fortunate to be around folks that was willing to help me, to guide me. And Rico, as recent as 3 weeks ago, put me to the side and guided me, right? Wayne Hall put me to the side 6 years ago at City Hall and guided me. So Ezzy B, I started with Ezzy B. I had a 106 Live lanyard. I worked with him. And what was funny, when I started Caribbeanlifetv, he worked with me. So we've all helped each other. They've all interviewed holding a Caribbeanlifetv mic. And I've always learned from each and every one that is sitting with me, everyone. So Marissa, I think you said it best about building on what already exists, seeing one common focus we could all do, Wayne, whether it's money, how we could do it together. What is beautiful that Shelley mentioned that for years we talked about uniting the Caribbean media presence and how we could do it as a collective. I think this is a good start by Austin Thompson, bringing us together, having this conversation, sharing our ideas and values, and maybe there should be a follow-up to this. So what would make me happiest is for this to continue, for this to be more organized as a collective. We still retain our authentic brands, but when it comes to election season, the Georgia Caribbean Vote, Caribbean Georgia Vote is a great organization that Marissa, Austin, you on there, and Sharon Thompson is on there. I'm saying that to say because once the politicians recognize that there is a strong media collective where we could get their information out, it would encourage them to spend that, campaign dollars with us as a collective. So it could come through Georgia Caribbean Votes, and then because you've been the curator of something like this, bring us together and see how collectively we could speak with one voice to benefit them. And that's how it could be done. So that would make me the happiest, is for all these entities and brands to unite and have one united vision for our community, whether it's business and whether it's our politicians, because that's where we hold the most sway. And that's where they need us the most, is to get our audiences. And as you see, it's in the millions.
That's right.
Okay. So to identify my success, I have to go back to my why. Why am I doing it? And again, I wanted to enhance the value of my community among each other. So success is individual and it's collective, as how I look at it. The individual successes would be that personal gratification When someone interviews on my show, for example, and says, boy, Wayne, thank you. We had a great turnout for the event. All right? When someone comes on and share information about health, and somebody texts me after and said, thank you for bringing on that guest. I had no idea I could have done this. I'm going to get on it. So it's little things like that, and then the whole coming together of just seeing how the community can benefit. The collective success would be the community benefits from what I do, and I can identify it. And also, if ultimately we as a group, as a media community, can say we are individually and collectively succeeding.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so we have 2 more questions, and I can't believe we're actually finishing on time. So here's the thing. I have 2 questions that are going to be consolidated into 1 question, and then we're going to have final thoughts from each of the panelists, and they're each going to give their contact information. But we want to make sure they don't just come here today and just tell you about all their value. We want everybody to follow up with our panelists, all right? So 1 memorable moment or experience in your history of radio, just 1 memorable moment, and lessons learned on your journey, right? So a memorable moment and 1 lesson that you learned on your journey. You can make that real quick.
Okay, so a very memorable moment for me was a couple years ago when UNESCO added reggae music as one of the treasures of the world. The British Broadcasting Corporation sought me out, sought out Reggae Vibes Radio and me as a presenter on Reggae Vibes Radio to actually interview on the BBC about reggae music in Jamaica. It's on my YouTube page, anyone who wants to see that. So I got to represent the BBC. Lessons learned, you got to have a thick skin in media. Mm-hmm. Nothing is personal. And it's okay to make the other person upset because we've taken enough and we shouldn't be the one walking away upset anymore. So lesson learned is to say that 1-word sentence, no, when it's time, and understand that we will not always necessarily be on the same page, but as long as those successes that we talk about are happening, we'll get past the individual and the incidences that have a little conflict in them.
Makes sense. Great job. Success. Mm-hmm. I think I have 2.
Okay.
1 was from a few years ago, and some of you guys might remember. Fox 5 approached Samantha Samuels with the Caribbean Association of Georgia. She was the president at that time. And they wanted to showcase Afro-Caribbeans living in the metro area. Mm-hmm. And she brought that opportunity to Caribbeanlifetv studios. And, it could have been easily done by ourselves, but I think what we did that made me the most proudest of, we invited all the different Caribbean organizations, right? You were there? So it was the Trinidad, Jamaica, Antigua and Barbuda, all who could attend, Haitians, and all of their organizations were right here in the studio. And Fox 5 did a piece where we were interviewed by Deidre Dukes, and they gave us, when it was aired, we got 3 minutes on Fox 5, and it was showcasing Afro-Caribbean living in the metro area. And we were on for 3 minutes. It showcased the studio, but what was most proudest of me, that we shared that opportunity with over 10 different Caribbean organizations and Caribbean countries. We shared that. So that was that. I would say today is my next proudest moment because the vision that Shelley brought to me several years ago about us having this type of forum, us uniting, having one body to operate from, has happened. So she put it out in the universe, we talked about it, but it took someone like yourself that has been a part of each and every one of our platforms in some way to bring us together. So I think that is the second proudest moment in media for me. Not the interviews, not the backstages and all of that, this. because we're impacting you.
Thank you. There's two proud moments for me. The first one was when I started broadcasting on the national radio station in St. Kitts Nevis, which is ZIZ, and my mom could hear me. That was incredible because my mom is older, and so she's not into internet and all that stuff. So to be able to turn on the radio, traditional radio, and hear her son talk on the radio and shout her out was by far the proudest moment for me. I'm getting choked up just thinking about it. The second proudest moment was when I landed in Gambia, Africa. After broadcasting there for about 5-6 years, when I landed in Banjul, which is the capital, there was a motorcade waiting for me. And the Africans they're such lovely people, and what you see on TV sometimes is not what it is. It's so much better, so much more lively, and it's not all run down ghettos and stuff in Africa. And in that journey, when I landed there, I met Frankie Paul, who was living there at the time. And he listened, didn't know this, but he listened to my radio show every week on Vibes FM in Gambia. So those two moments, by far, has been my proudest moments in media. Thank you.
Okay, well, everyone's saying they have 2 moments. I'll have 2 moments myself. So one of them is a few years ago, Oprah Winfrey launched a show called Greenleaf. And so I do cover non-Caribbean events as well. So I was on a mailing list for this PR firm, and they always invite me to things. And Oprah Winfrey was having a debut of this show in New York City. I got the invite maybe 3, maybe 4 days before, and I was like, I don't care what's the cost. I'm going. I want to be in the room with Oprah. And not only was I in the room with Oprah, I got to ask a question of the cast, and Oprah was one of the people that answered my question. Yes, it's on my YouTube channel. Go look at it. More recently, last year, let me say this first. A lot of times as media, we're doing what we're doing. You don't necessarily know who's watching, who's appreciating what you're doing. And so last year, I was covering the Caribbean Music Awards in New York. Thank you, Lawrence. And so Morgan Heritage comes up, and I'm asking them, what does this moment mean to them, blah, blah, blah. And Gramps Morgan says to me, no, this is your moment. I want to take the time to thank you for what you've been doing for all these years. And he starts mentioning all of these events that I've covered over the years, and I'm like, you're getting emotional. Just to think that what you're doing is impacting someone, and a Grammy Award-winning artist at that. And for him to take the time to give me my flowers in that moment was very, very moving for me. Yeah.
I feel I've been blessed. This platform and this lifestyle, being in media, has blessed me to meet so many people on so many different levels. Honorable Andrew, captains of industry, you get to meet Lynn Whitfield, and I got to interview Leon Robinson. I love Leon. I love Leon. Rico, everybody in here knows I love Leon. I stalked him for a really long time before I got his interview, but I got it. But my most memorable moment, when I was working on 106 Live, we partnered with Tell All Inc., and this guy comes in named Mike, and he's corporate world media, and he's like, we're doing a TV show. It's going to be a reality-based TV show, and I want you to come and I want you to audition. I said, like, downtown real Atlanta? And I get into this room, and there's tons and tons of people. And the way he did it is he highlighted every single woman. So there was this group of women. For over months and months, we continued to meet each other, and we just kept on networking with each other. The main event was a red carpet event that he was filming, and he said, you're going to do the red carpet, and you're going to be on television. And I'm like, sure, okay. I'll watch it on YouTube. And I remember the morning he called me. It was a Saturday morning, and I was going through a lot of stuff. And he called, and he said, turn on the TV. You're on TV. And I'm like, and I kept on doing my daughter's hair. And I said, can someone turn, because I was at a friend's house, can someone just check and see if I'm on this channel right now? And they turned it on, and I heard my voice, and I thought I was going to lose my mind. I was so excited, and I like called everyone, turn on the TV right now. Mark, it was only 5 minutes, right? You know, but I was on TV. But for me, it wasn't that I was on TV. It was that here I was, something that I've wanted to do for so long. As insignificant as the channel may be to some people, it was like HBO to me. So that was my most memorable, I think, of all of them. But what I've learned, you said that as well, right?
Yeah, lesson learned.
Understanding my worth and understanding my value and understanding that I do have something to offer this community and I can do it, little old Ro by herself, and do a great job. Or I can learn to say, Ezzy, I need some help. Or Rico, can you help me out? Or Shelly, what do you think about this? Or Marissa, I'm about to lose my mind. Or Cassie, ah! You know, I know when I have to step back and reset. And because if I don't reset, I won't be able to provide you the value. I won't be able to give you what I do best, and that's do the interview, because then I'll be crackling and crying, and I don't want to do that. So understanding my worth and knowing especially when to just stop and pause and say, okay, I need someone to help me out. That's most important. Thank you.
All right, I know you all are fading, but 2 quick stories, one for memorable moment and one for lesson learned. In terms of memorable moment, it was with the soca artist Blacks. So I was having some issues getting some soca artists to the radio show, and he came into town, and I was like, this is my opportunity. But I wasn't very good at promoting who I was, so I was just like, I want to interview you, because in my mind, I didn't need to say who I was, right? Anyway, bottom line is, we met, he had a press release, we spoke, and there was no indication that he knew who I was. It was a very blasé kind of interaction. He did his show, he went home, we exchanged numbers, so I just said, hey, great show, hope to have you on air soon. And I don't know, most of y'all know Blacks is not a man of many words, right? So it's kind of like, he would just like acknowledge what you say with a thumbs up or whatever. But then he sends me, similar to your story, a link to almost every single article I wrote on my blog and links to radio interviews that we did on air. And I was just floored, because I was like, I had no idea, to your point, that he even knew like what I was doing, you know? And for me, it was just a reminder, like, stay focused, stay the course, your work has impact, and keep doing what you're doing. And as an extension to that, real quick, so in terms of lessons learned, I was on tour with my co-host a few years ago, and you know, he's a hip-hop artist, so people, when we go to different shows, they would acknowledge him, and you know, you could get drunk with the feeling of being a celebrity, right? And we went to one particular event, and the reception was not great. It was actually quite negative, and I was getting really hot. Like, I was like, we just went from first-class treatment to this foolishness. Like, I was shouting in the back. I was really upset. And my co-host just looked at me, and he's like, yo, that's not what we do here. Stay calm, and let's play this out, right? And he was the most gracious to the promoter, even though the promoter had lots of attitude. And it was just like, to me, he was being a pushover, but he actually had a reason for what he was doing. He wanted to maintain a good relationship with the promoter. He was able to switch things around from having a show that was a flop to getting 5 additional gigs. And it was all from him just staying calm, not getting agitated, not playing his hand like he was a superstar, all that good stuff. I was in the background just looking at him, and there were so many lessons in that experience. One being, like, media is something we do. It doesn't define us. And as a result, like, humility stays at the front of everything. Like, whoever you interact with, just stay cool, just stay chill. Just don't let anything, to Wayne's point, don't let anything get to you, you know? And also with every interaction, let it build for a positive relationship moving forward, which is sometimes very challenging, but it's very necessary in the world that we're in.
Okay, so for me, memorable moments was being on Uber Soca Cruise. And I remember speaking to Lawrence just before I was going on the cruise, and I said, you know, Caribbeanlifetv doesn't have an international, you know, reach, so, you know, why don't I'm going on the cruise? I can, you know, go and interview some artists. And Lawrence met me at the airport. Do you remember Lawrence? He met me at the airport, about 3 T-shirts, a media pass, pulled up just before I was about to go and, go through to securities. He met me at the airport and, just gave me everything I needed. So I got on the cruise and I made my way backstage. And I was able to meet with Kez, with Patrice Roberts, with all the big soca artists who were there. I got them to say Caribbeanlifetv, got a couple of questions out of them. So that was really memorable, being able to project your personality out in such a way that you can get backstage. They didn't know who I was, nothing of Caribbeanlifetv. They probably knew after the cruise, but they didn't know at the time. So I decided, got my way through and, got those interviews and videos and pictures and so forth. In terms of lessons, you've got to be able to pivot. You're live, sometimes, you've got someone in front of you, they may go quiet, and you've got to be able to pivot and switch and, have something to say, fill those gaps. Also, you have to learn how to engineer your shows and to be able to, click buttons, know what cameras where, and so forth. It's so important because, as I said earlier, not everyone watches the live. When they go back and they want to watch it, you want to have good audio and different things for them to be able to enjoy the experience. So definitely lots of lessons. And, we're constantly learning. We're constantly learning. Don't know everything, but we're constantly learning.
All right. So you guys have heard my name mentioned quite a bit here, and it's an honor to be here today to talk to my colleagues and to share this story of excellence. Because as you know, when I had the 106 Live radio, I wanted to reinvent the wheel and change the way radio functioned completely. Okay, so in any traditional platform, any traditional studio, you would have at least 2 or 3 people. You have the engineer, the producer, the host, and maybe the guest or whoever else is in the studio. Well, guess what? Every host that actually walked into 106 Live Radio, whether they had prior experience or they had 0 experience, when they left that studio, they were fully trained how to function in any studio, fully knowledgeable how to operate a radio show if they're in the studio by themselves. 100% of them. And I don't take credit for any of these folks right now, but I've seen many of them went on to do their own thing. And this is a huge, memorable experience for me. But that's not all. Not only did I taught them to do all these things, but being able to take my staff to different cities to do movie premieres. We've gone to Vegas. I never went by myself. It was never about me. I've always taken someone with me to do the red carpet at the movie premiere in Vegas, for example, or as big as the Soul Train Awards, the red carpet, the black carpet. So these are some of the successes that I've had with some of my people, but also the lessons that I've learned. Over the years, I've tried to build relationships with people by offering my services for free. Well, and guess what? That didn't work, okay? So the lesson that I've learned is there's no value in free service. That's it.
All right, so right now we're going to wrap up. Okay. We're going to wrap up. So we're going to wrap up. But before we go, I want you to tell everybody how to reach you. They want to do business with you. They want to engage the Ezzy B show. They want to get their spotlight. How do they do that? How do they reach you?
Absolutely. It's easy, guys. So everyone knows, like I said, my real name is Ezron Benjamin. Everyone calls me Ezzy. So you can also follow me on all social medias at Ezzy Spotlight. That's EZZY Spotlight. And I got some business cards in my pocket, so when I get off the stage, you can just find me and I'll be able to give you guys a card. You can also log on to my website at ezzyspotlight.com.
And again, no relations, Ezzy B, Kazzy B. All right?
No relations
No
whatsoever.
Right.
He's only got one B, and I'm B-E-E, okay? Okay, so Kazzy B, I am on Facebook as Kazzy B. Instagram is at _promo_show. You could also catch me here on Caribbeanlifetv, radio, Bacchanal TV, YouTube. I mean, I'm around. You can catch me. I'm buzzing around. So
I'm available at Authentic Caribbean on Instagram, and email is authenticcaribbeanradio@gmail.com, and also at To Be Caribbean. I won't give you my number because I suck at cell phones, but email is the best way.
The Rose Solo Show is on all platforms, Instagram, what's that, formerly X, that Twitter thingy, that Facebook, all of that, and Clubhouse, Twitch, everything. And then Phoenix Radio, it's phoenix.radio on Instagram, and it's www.phoenixradio on the website, 2 X's. Yeah, I think that's it. And always be fearless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. I'm done.
Thank you. It's Caribbean Runnings with an S on Facebook and on Instagram. I'm all over social media, Red Carpet Shelly with 2 L's, 2 E's. It's always one love. And if you go to my link tree on Instagram, you can get to everything else that I'm doing. And talking about pivoting, I launched a travel company, Celebrity EXP Travel, over the last few years. So when you're planning your next trip, hit me up.
See, I always wonder how you were traveling so much. Now I know.
I decided to make money.
You can catch me on the Flavor Radio, which is DAFLAVA Radio. You can also put in THE. So both ways you'll go to the Flavor Radio. You can follow me on Instagram, Rico Vibes as well. And you can subscribe to my YouTube channel for my podcast at Rico Vibes as well on YouTube. And it's ricovibes@gmail.com if you want to get in contact with me. Thank you.
You can reach me. No, it's okay. You can reach me at Caribbeanlifetv@gmail.com. You could call me at 678-661-1819. If you have any need for advertisement, or if you have a product or a service that you would like to advertise on the radio or on Caribbean Life TV, reach out to us, 678. Well, you could call me directly at 404-218-1234. You can reach us on all social media platforms, Caribbean Life TV on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all of that. You can reach Caribbean Life Radio on the same. Tune into our shows. It's 7 days a week, primarily starting around 6 p.m. And it's a variety of different topics, so we got something for everyone. So radio, every day, TV, you could consume us either way. Caribbean Life TV, Caribbean Life Radio.
Thank you. I just want to make a quick observation. You've got 8 of your top Caribbean media personnel at this table. Not one of us said our happiest moment was an award we got. Everyone pointed out to an experience in what we do. And I think that speaks volumes of where our heart is as media. I also want to just, before I tell you how to reach me, add that media is also about accountability. And as a community, as individuals within a community, sometimes it's the media that's going to help to hold even our own selves accountable. And why mention that? Because the person that cheers us on today, if you hold them accountable later, they're mad at you. They'll see you in the community and you're the worst thing ever. But I'm going to tell you, media is also accountability. And it's not personal. We love what we do, we're passionate about what we do, and we're doing it as we see, not for the recognition, but for the duty that comes with it. That said, you can find me at thewayneHallShow.com. I have a website that you can go on and see stuff about Wayne Hall. You can hit the play button and listen to what's streaming at the time. I'm on Wednesday nights live from 8 until 10 p.m. I'm on YouTube at Wayne Hall Show, Facebook at Wayne Hall Show, Instagram, Wayne Hall Show. If you want to email me, WayneHallShow@gmail.com. And if you call me, it's Wayne Hall, 678-431-9390. Caribbean Life TV is streaming live right now, so if you scroll to 1 hour and 57 minutes, you'll see this information if you forgot my number. We're live. Shout out to CLTV. And so, all right, ladies and gentlemen. So, Austin, I don't know if you had another opportunity to talk, but I want to thank you for this.
Thank you.
Truly appreciate it, my brother.
No, I want to thank all of you, because when I had the concept for this, it was supposed to, because I've been doing panels since COVID. Prior to COVID, I spent 8 years doing Entrepreneurship and Small Business Summit, which Lawrence had the privilege to come out and photograph and videograph. Since we've been on Facebook and Google Meets and Microsoft Teams, because of COVID, I've come up with different ways in order to keep connected with the community. So I've been doing panels and webinars since 2020. So when I was putting this panel together, I was thinking, well, I can't do this without this person. I gotta have this person. So that's how we end up with 8 individuals. It could have been, literally, it could have been easily like 15 people up here. Because we've got so many, and I'm still here. Nobody keyed my car or flattened my tires or anything. What about me? But when we talk about the immense talent of our Caribbean community, there's so much talent in our Caribbean community, and we have that talent in media. So you heard what they said tonight. You heard the value that they expressed to you, that they have the access to the Caribbean market. 300,000 in the state of Georgia with over $50 billion in discretionary income, right? Black people alone, African Americans alone, have close to $3 trillion in economic power, in purchasing power. When we think about the money we command, the economic power we command, the electoral, right, the voting power we command, we don't really see it, right? You ever seen a coach said, oh my God, he could be so much more of a successful athlete if he only knew his strength, right? You ever heard coaches say that? He could go really far if he only knew the strength he really had, right? If our community knows the strength we really have in power, we could go so much further than we are today, right? So I want you all to please give a rousing applause to our media panel. And I thank them, and like I said, everybody on this panel. I just met Rico. So Rico, you owe me an interview. We gotta make this. We gotta make this thing right. So you owe me an interview. So everyone has given me an interview more than once, more than twice, and I thank them for all they do in the community, because a lot of folks would not have received access, if it wasn't for these individuals. So thank them for all they do. Now, before we close, we have an entertainer that we're going to bring up, a soca artist. But I want to spend the next couple of minutes, because I have some individuals I want to bring up, just to give them 2 to 3 minutes, just to say what they're doing in the community, because these are individuals I know that are going to make impact in our community, in their respective communities, and in our community as well. Is Brent Bennett here? Brent Bennett? He's not here. Brent Bennett is a Trinidadian running for tax commissioner in Newton County, right? He's a Trinidadian brother running for tax commissioner. He's going to be responsible for setting all the taxes and the tax policy in Newton County, right? He's in a runoff, right? The runoff is on June 18th. We interviewed him here. Right, you guys interviewed him, and CGV will be interviewing him Tuesday night. So I just want you to look out. You know anybody in Newton County, tell them look out. Brent Bennett, representing the TNT community, all right? Because we got to get our Caribbean people in there, all right? All right. Hold on a second. Who we have here? Esther Bland? Blanken? Ma'am, would you mind just telling a little bit, 2 to 3 minutes, who you are and what you do in your platform? Are you're in a runoff?
No. I'm a nonprofit here.
Well, let me just get these folks here. Yeah. Yeah, because there's some folks I really want to highlight. I want to bring up Dr. Arlene Beckles. Dr. Arlene, let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Arlene Beckles. I was at the municipal conference in Savannah last year. I didn't even know we had a Bajan who was sitting on the city council in Norcross. The first Bajan to be elected in the city of Norcross on the city council, right? And now she is in a tight race in the runoff, House District 96, which is being vacated by Pedro Marin, who is the first Hispanic elected to the House, the Georgia State House, the House of Representatives. Dr. Beckles is in a tight runoff to replace him, right? So I want Dr. Beckles, you know, a Bajan. We talk about Bajan, because I'm a Bajan. You know what I mean? So Dr. Beckles, give them 2 to 3 minutes, who you are, your platform, and where they can go to vote for you.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for having me. I enjoyed listening to you guys, and I am in IT cybersecurity, but we do have to cover a lot of media stuff because it's a hospital chain that I work for, so we need you guys. A little bit about me. I've been Norcross City Council for 3 years. Decided to run for state rep when I heard that Pedro was giving up his seat. I qualified that Thursday morning, and by 2 o'clock, my name was all over the place. I've been getting calls from folks. They didn't know I was running. I didn't even know I was running. But my team knew that if they called me, I would get up and stand up. So I'm here to represent District 96. It's Norcross, Duluth, some parts of Peachtree Corners, some parts of Doraville. And my platform is simple. I'm just going to keep it real. All right? We need affordable housing, transit, reproductive health. Okay? So those are the 3 things that I'm really, really concerned about. Next, I am all for the people. There is nothing. I've lived in Norcross for 22 years. My daughter's 23. I moved here when she was just over a year. So 22 years of giving back in my community. I have the experience, I have the education, I have the empathy to handle District 96. And I met Mr. Thompson here when he was running for Lawrence City Council. We met at a restaurant up off of Jay's Caribbean. Jay's Caribbean, yeah. Yes, that's where I met him, and we've become very good friends since then. So again, my website is my name, arlenebeckles.com. District 96, Norcross, Duluth, parts of Doraville, parts of Peachtree Corners. If you have a friend, tell a friend.
Thank you very much. And definitely look at Dr. Arlene Beckles. You can Google that name and get her website, and make sure you send folks to support her. And also for Brent Bennett, you could Google that name, and that will take you to his website, and you'll see his platform and the issues he's running on as tax commissioner for Newton County. We got to support our Caribbean nationals who are running, and we want to make that. So I want to bring up the lovely young ladies, Peter Gay and Olinda from Caribbean International Shipping. Always a great support for our community. This organization has been around for 30 years. I have the pleasure of currently being one of their consultants, and I just want to really give a spotlight to Caribbean International Shipping because they have given scholarships, and they have actually been out in the community representing Caribbean International Shipping and representing the community. So I just want to bring these young ladies up, tell you a little bit about Caribbean International Shipping. All right.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having us here today. My name is Peter Gay Cope. This is my partner in crime, Belinda Williams. We are here representing Caribbean International Shipping Services, the #1 Caribbean shipping company in Atlanta, Georgia. We ship to 26 countries in the Caribbean, South America, and Central America.
Hello again, good evening, you guys. I am Melinda Williams, and we are a part of the first and the best Caribbean International Shipping Company in Atlanta, Georgia, known as Caribbean International Shipping Services. We are the Caribbean market, because we connect with people all over the Caribbean. People come from all different states, and we get to interact all the time on a day-to-day basis. So we're here to just let you guys know that we want to be a vessel and also find ways to be interactive with you guys, because I know you guys are always shipping back home, especially the Jamaicans, you know. Those are top customers. But we just... So me, I've been with the company for about 6 months now, and I wanted to know, okay, how could I help this company? And the way that I figured out how I could help is with the marketing. So me, and this is my marketing companion, we're trying to make videos, we're learning, doing the different aspects, been doing the market research, and it's super exciting. So to be able to come here and just hear all the different impacts that you guys have, it was absolutely amazing. Like, I was sitting here like, wow, these are my people, and I just want to figure out, okay, how can I get a part of it myself as well? But yes, we are here to let you know that we are the community. We are the market, and we want to show more on the social media aspect. We want to have the YouTube, the Instagram, because we have it, but how can we actually interact, you know? Because we're here too, and we love the people. So yes, we are Caribbean International Shipping.
Thank you, guys.
I had to take pictures of these two ladies because I got to send it to Caribbean International Shipping. Because I was asked, are these two ladies there? I'm like, yes, they're here. They're here. You know she would ask, right? Oh, we love Caribbean International Shipping, man. We're gonna take some Q&As, but I want to bring up a young lady, Miss Elma. I'm sorry, Miss Elma, I forgot your last name. I couldn't pronounce it properly. But Miss Elma is with the Niger Delta People's Movement. And I had the pleasure, I was asked to deliver a keynote address at their conference last year. And I was moved by the opportunity to actually sit on a dais with some very accomplished Africans, right? I mean, who have sat with Dr. Chiobori Kwa and PLO Lumumba and with those likes. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, all right. So, you know, I had to bring my speech, right? And then after that event, the Niger Delta People's Movement embraced me and have asked me to help them with their business summit for July 26th and 27th. So I tell them, come to the event. And, you know, we've been working with the African Caribbean Community Summit. And my goal is really to make sure we strengthen this bond with our African community and our Latino community, because we're all one people, right? We are all one people, and we have to stop looking at each other looking at ourselves in our silos, right? But really understand that we're one people. So I want to bring up Ms. Elma to talk a little bit about, you know, the Niger Delta Business Summit, and that would be great. Thank you. Nigeria in the house.
Thank you, Mr. Austin. Thank you, every one of you. I really enjoyed your talk tonight. I've learned a lot from you guys, knowing, you know, my value. That was great. Thank you. My name is Elma Okogba. I'm here representing the Niger Delta People's Movement. I also have two of my co-representative here. His name is Sele, and I also have Betty there sitting in the audience. We are having a business summit in July, this coming July 26 and 27 at the Hilton Hotel. What we do, we are the voice for the voiceless. When I heard that, I was shaking my head. We are the voice for the voiceless, and we also do school runs, health, and supply health supplies to children, people who are in need of medical needs. We meet their needs. All this while we've been doing it like individually, like each state or on demand. But this time around, we decided to push the burden a little bit for more challenging stuff that will reach a region. What does Niger Delta People's Movement stand for? We are in the south side of part of Nigeria, and comprised of 6 states in the south side. And we as Niger Delta people, we're doing a business summit like bridging what is in the south side of Nigeria with the American market. It's a very tough challenge because these are things that governments usually do. But we said, no, we can do it. We've been doing like individually to people and all that. We felt we could do more to the region instead of doing to individual states. So this idea came thanks to Mr. Austin as well. When he came for our gala night, kind of pushed the button a little bit for us to think beyond the box. And that's what we're doing. We don't have anything to benefit from this, but we're doing it for the community that we came from. We're actually giving back, trying to see how we can put food on the table, trying to see how we can set up industries that will reach a lot of people so that we don't give to individual, everybody coming to beg. If we're able to set up an industry, it's going to create jobs for a lot of people in all these regions, 6 of the regions. So we decided to come up with this business summit. We're still looking for investors. If you're an investor here, please, an opportunity. We're looking at hydropower, looking at agricultural produce, mechanized farming. We're looking at palm oil. Let me just bring it down. Corn, cashew, cassava, IT, all together, meshed together. That's what we're doing. We're bringing people from home. We're bringing top government officials from home, from the state of from the 6 states in the Niger Delta region. We're bringing these top government officials to come here and see how they can sign an MOU for business opportunities. We've also reached out to top government officials here in the United States, mostly in Georgia. Some of them are also coming, and some businesses are coming. The African trade desk will be there as well. I don't know if you guys know anything about the African trade desk. What they do, they kind of come to your country and see what you have. How would they use what you have, manufacture what you have, produce what you have to the end user, thereby not ship it? So maybe you go to Walmart, you go to Target, you see something from my village, it's from my village, but it's actually sold here in the United States. So they help us put this together, and they ship it here for us to put it in the market. By so doing, they create industries in our community. By so doing, they help to hire people, create jobs for the community. By so doing, they help to create health for the community, make it better for the people. So this is what we're doing. It costs a lot of money to do it. It costs a lot of time, investment, sleepless nights, stepping on each other's toes to get things done. But so far, we've been on it, and it's going to happen this July 26th and 27th, and I'm excited about it, and it's going to be great. For now, we'll be asking for sponsors. Anybody that can sponsor us, you're welcome to sponsor us. We also have vendor stand. We only have 5 vendor stands left as I stand here today. If you're interested in vendor stand, please, you're welcome. And before now, our vendor stand brochure advert was $300, but because we're getting to the time, we decided to be doing some specials. So right now we have it for $100. If you want to come, it's $100. And I have all the information here as well. I am privileged to be standing here. It's not a right to be standing here before my own people. I'm glad that this is the African Caribbean Society, and I'm standing here before you guys. It means the world to me, because you are like the family I have, that should have been with back home. But right now, I'm here in the midst of other people that look like me, that like the same food I like, that walk the same way I walk, they appreciate who I am. And so it means the world. So I'm using this opportunity so you guys can reach out to us. I'm going to share some of these files. I still have some in the car if you want them. Any way you can participate in this event, that would be great. It will really help. If you participate, you're not just you're not helping me, you're actually helping to put food on the table for a child who needs food. You're helping to provide health care for a child who needs health care. You're helping to provide stable marriage relationship for marriages that is broken apart because they don't have the means to take care of themselves. You are helping to take care of a community who are in need of help, and they get the help they need. You are helping to help the whole government, the system as a whole, in the 6 Niger Delta regions. So this is the kind of help you are providing for them if you participate in this event either by sponsor, by donation, by any means, or being an investor. Even if if you have the means to invest, please come. We have enough for everybody to invest in. I use this opportunity to encourage everybody to be part of the process. And please, whenever you guys have events, invite us. We'll be there. If you want us to participate, we'll be there as well. Thank you very much for this wonderful occasion. I truly appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
And I want to say thank you to Miss Elma and Miss Loretta and Brother Ejiro and Edafe Chief. We call him, my Caribbean Georgia Vote folks know Edafe and the work that we do with his group. And they have opened up their arms and welcomed us. And I think it's good that we do the same thing and oblige and open up our arms and welcome our African brothers and sisters as well. All right, so we're running out of time. We got a soca artist that, where's Jay Smooth at? Where's Jay Smooth? Now, I know he's here, but where is he physically? Where is he? I know he's here. Jay Smooth, why you hiding, bro? Why you hiding, man? We heard you got some music. Yes, I got some music. What you got, bro? Whatever you need, I got it. All right, we want to get a taste of what you got, right? Are you ready for us? All right, you got his tracks? You got his tracks? All right, go ahead.
Afternoon, how's everybody doing today? Everybody good? It's been a long weekend. I'm so happy to be here. We just got back from Alabama, actually, with my man Wayne here. It was a great event out there for the Caribbean Heritage Month. But like you said, I have a new soca song I just released not too long ago. Perfect time for Carnival. So we're gonna see how we can, how you guys think about this song here, okay? Boy, oh yeah, nah, oh nah, na 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 na. I'm watching she walk out, she whiz. She drank the high tree fish. She don't have no man tonight. No, she said she come too fat, so she can't take no stress. Leave her man at home tonight. She ballin', don't watch me. Just mind your own business. Party, just mind what you're drinking. She ballin', don't watch me. Just mind your own business. Party, just mind what you're drinking. Are you ready? Try on and live, you gon' go back and all. Gon' go back and all. She said she ready. When she on in the cause she gon' go back and all. Oh Lord, she wanna don't watch me. Just mind your own business. Party, just mind what you're drinking. She wanna don't watch me. Just mind your own business. Party, just mind what you're drinking. Love how she whines, she whiz with control. Baby, we don't have to let him know. No, she feeling the rhythm deep in his soul. Little vibe now, she don't wanna go home. She wanna don't watch me. Just mind your own business. Party, just mind what you're drinking. She wanna don't watch me. Business, is she in the party? Just mind what you're drinking. Are you ready? Try on and if you gon' go back and all. Oh Lord, she said she ready. When she on the knee, cause she gon' go back and all. Gon' go back and all. She ballin', don't watch me. Just mind your own business. Party, just mind what you're drinking. She ballin', don't watch me. Just mind your own business. Party, just mind what you're drinking. Yeah. Body soaking wet, still not tired yet. She don't wanna go home. No, my eyes fixed on she, tantalizing me, make me want her more and more. Oh God, see she in the party. Just mind what you're drinking. She wanna don't watch me. Business, see she in the party. Just mind what you're drinking. Are you ready? Try on and live, you come go back and all. Come go back and all. She said she ready. When she on the knee, cause she come go back and all. Come go back and all. She wanna don't watch me. Just mind your own business. See she in the party. Just mind what you're drinking. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh yes, and one thing. Find me on Instagram at jsmooth the artist. YouTube, jsmooth. Any social medias is jsmooth. thank you again for having me here. I appreciate it.
So, ladies, I wanted to give an opportunity to some of the folks that have stuff happening here. And this young lady that I'm about to bring up, Esther, she's not going to take up much of your time. She got a really great event happening right here at the studio. So before we wrap up, I wanted to give her an opportunity to let you bring your kids or grandkids here.
Hello. Oh, you need me to go upstairs? A shot, so you're making me go upstairs. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I went ahead and make some bullet points so I can make it short. Happy Caribbean American Heritage Month. I'm your sister, born in Grenada, raised in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And I'm also the great niece of Edward Blyden, the father of Pan-Africanism. But myself and my co-founder of Community Restore, we're both women in construction. And for Ms. Beckles, I'm a project coordinator and a contractor in construction, and I have an idea to help with housing, and it's based off of, I'm tying all of it in, a trip I went to Nevis, and they have, it's not even St. Kitts and Nevis, Nevis Land Development Corporation. They have a dope subsidized plan, so I'm gonna share it with you. So I'll link with you. Yeah, so the workshop we're gonna have, it's a career workshop for young people ages 12 to 18. 10 or 11-year-old could maybe come if they're mature and they really wanna learn. But we're gonna be teaching them, exposing them to construction, agriculture, culinary arts, graphic arts, to name a few. And also, it was a cost, $150, but we have two contractors. One contractor, Anthony Rogers, Jamaican born, of AR Utility Contractors, and then also Dexter Kelly from St. Kitts. He's the owner of Benkel Construction. Because of those sponsorship, the camp is now free. So everyone who has the flyers, I have to update it. Every child that wants to come is going to be free. Our cap is 40. Right now we only have 4, including my child. So I'm going to send the flyer to everybody so you can push it out. Like I said, the cap is 40, so we need 36. Oh, Lawrence Prescott has given us here. So this is going to be transferred into a classroom the week of June 24th to the 28th, 8:30 to 5. That whole week, the young people will be learning all of these trades and careers. So thank you.
All right, real quick, anybody who has questions for our panel? Anyone? Oh, just come on up. If you have questions, just come on up. Okay. You can stay right there.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I just want to say thank you so much. First, Mr. Thompson, thank you so much for putting this on. This is so much important. I know I can't say how much I appreciate this because I did not know about this. I did not know about this. I've been in business for 12 years, and I've never advertised on any Caribbean media. As a matter of fact, I never even used to advertise. Most of my business are referral. I'm a postpartum doula and a newborn care educator. I was just awarded this year for my 7-figure award, so I'm now rebranded. I'm the 7-figure doula whisperer. I was also featured, yes, because of that, I was also featured in the Atlanta magazine as one of the 50 most affluent women in Atlanta. And I am so ready to work with you guys. So please, I'm ready for mentorship. I'm ready for just give back to my community. And I'm so ready to, I just launched my first talk show here because of someone who encouraged me to do it because I didn't even know that we have this platform, this medium. So thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it. And I just want to know, how can I give back? How can I be on your show and talk about mental health? Because as postpartum doulas, women go through so much postpartum depression, and men too. And I have so much to bring to this community. So thank you so much. Lawrence, thank you. And everyone in here, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Thank you, sir.
Okay, everyone, I'm Sharon Thompson, and I'm here at CLTV as the Global Outreach Ambassador, but I also do a show on Tuesday night called Caribbean Extravaganza. And to this panel, I mean, amazing. But honestly, my thing is more of a comment more than anything else. And I'm just going to implore each and every one of you that let today be the day that we all unite as a Caribbean nation. I'm saying nation because we are teamwork. And so we're not only Caribbean people, like Austin said. Thank you, Austin, for this platform, for this meeting. But the truth of the matter is, I'm really disturbed by being a Jamaican. You can hear, well, I'm Jamaican. So let me break out. I'm Jamaican, and the truth be told is that when we unite, there's unity in strength. And all I'm asking you all, we just ended our carnival celebration a couple of weeks ago. The people are watching us. We're not only Caribbean people, to be honest, we are African people. Jamaican born, but I'm African. And that's just what I want to share with y'all. Let us unite starting tonight. Period.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jackie Brown, talking about uniting. I am the CEO of My Green Card Express. So to get your immigration status in order, I have a seminar workshop here on June 22nd at 11 a.m. So you can come, bring all your undocumented family and friends, and so that I can give them any consultation and advice on how they can get their status adjusted and get their green cards. So see you all on June 22nd at 11 a.m. Thank you.
Hello again, I'm Alinda Williams, and I do have a question for you guys. I have two. So the first one is, how did you get over the fear to just start and be different? And then the second one is, as a young Caribbean American, what is the best way that I can get started in my entrepreneurship journey? As many of you mentioned, money. How do we get invested to? Do you guys offer things in different programs that we can have and that could also develop the education? Because I honestly have no idea where to start.
So thank you for the question. The first part you said resonated with me because we used to work with the college, what's President all them? The Caribbean, the Student Association. And I remember when I first had Prezi or Ashley, who became another co-host here on Caribbeanlifetv, it was about trying to bring in the younger voice, the youth, because we all think, us on the table, we think we know everything, but we can learn from our youth. So if there's a platform that resonates with you, I say reach out to the person. Whichever one of the platforms are here, I'm sure any one of us would be happy and welcome to have you on our platform, or just talk to you. If it's Marissa, Cassie, myself, or Shelly from a female perspective as to what to do to get into, trust me, Shelly and I, all of us have talked about it, about helping our youth, helping our younger ladies in media understand what needs to be done, how to get into it, how to monetize, and how to support each other. So I just say reach out. You know where to reach me. I'm always here, and I'll walk you through anything that you need. From what I've learned, now I may have to call Shelly or Marissa because they know more than me, but yeah, always here. And the second part was the investment.
The investment, no, that's not me. What I wanted to tell you in terms of your entrepreneurial spirit is, what's the tagline for Nike? Just do it. When I started in media, I didn't know anything. In fact, I didn't even give myself that name. My sister did. And to this day, I do not like being on camera. Y'all were talking about social media, and now you got all these cameras. I was on radio because I did not want to be seen. Okay? So just do it. And that's going to help you with your fears that you're trying to overcome. Just jump right in and do it. That's the best advice I can get. And then learn along the way from your peers. Make sure you have mentors to learn from and educate yourself.
To respond to her, Austin is now officially on the spot. He's going to organize the first Young Entrepreneurial Summit. And he's going to invite the media and these young, wonderful young minds to come and reap the benefit of our experience. So we need the craft of a Mr. Thompson to be the glue that put this all together. So great question. I'm not going to bite off something I can't chew, but I have the right. We're good at that in media, you know. We can delegate. Austin, we need a young people summit, man. Yes, and but on a personal level, if it's on your heart enough to feel like it could be a passion, you start there. And it will unfold. It will evolve into, you know, my gosh, I just wanted to do radio because I love it and have fun doing it. And God gave me the talent for it. Look at me. I'm sitting among the esteemed of the Caribbean right now, you know. That's all I did. Just start doing something I loved.
You mentioned about money. Don't worry about the money. The money will follow. So just do it because you love it. Do it because you're passionate about it. And the money will follow. You'll think of ways in which you can make money. And then people will start to see your value. And don't defer from your value. Once you know your worth, just stick to it. If they say no, that's okay. Just go somewhere else. They will end up coming. I've got people who advertise with me and sponsor my show, and they've come year after year, show after show. I'm in season 3. I've just ended season 3, and I'm about to start season 4. But just believe in yourself, and everything else will follow.
One of the biggest investment or investor you can have is having a strong support system and people who believe in you, especially in this business, because it's not an easy business. It's a dog-eat-dog business. You have to have, one of the panelists mentioned earlier that you have to have thick skin in this business. But in any business at all, you just need to have a strong support system and people who believe in you.
So I have a slightly different perspective from my colleagues. In terms of building a sustainable brand, I would say invest in a business plan. Yes, you're developing your media brand, but also have a business plan so you could think through things like how you're going to get investors, how you're going to get money so you could buy equipment and all those good things. SBA.gov is a good place to start, but there are a lot of resources online that you could check out.
And Austin also helps with putting together and helping you structure a business plan. He helped me with Phoenix Radio. He doesn't know that yet, but it's already written. But no, he does help you structure business plan. I actually agree with Marissa. I don't feel you should go into it saying the money will come. No disrespect to anyone, because I did it, and it didn't work. It doesn't work out after 6 years of the money will come. I think you have to have something structured. You have to understand what you want to do, understand your niche, understand what your audience is going to be or who you'd like your audience to be, and plan out and take it from there, because you can get investors. They're out there, and there are ways of getting investors where it's just not you're going to one person for 10,000. There are ways to plan out and structure it. So I would say, the business plan is a great idea. Yeah.
All right, before we have another question? Okay, before we get our next question, I just want to give a shout out to Hazel Mitchell from the Trinidad and Tobago Association.
Hi, Hazel.
Yes, TNT always represent, always represent. Yes.
Thank you guys so much for all your information.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir. My name is Yvette Di Mendonza, and I represent WOTC Network. And I am so excited about being here today. I'm so glad I didn't miss this. And this is so close to my home that it's a shame I don't know about you more closer, because I live not far from here. And I've been looking for a forum to do what I need to do and expand my network. Some of the things that, first of all, shout out to the women here. The reason is because WOTC is really women of the cloth. And what I do is I do seminars and educate women and empower women. But my passion is people with disabilities. So it was good to hear, I think at least 2 or 3 of the members of this panel talk about that. And one of the things I need for you to do, Mr. Hall, is to give me that information again on the link on autism. Because I think you gave us a link, but I didn't get that. Can you make sure you give me that? So I am definitely going to be looking for mentors from people like Sister Rhonda So you'll be hearing from me and Shelley, you know, and because I think that when women empower women, it's so strong. And that's what I want my voice to be heard. And I feel like this opportunity to get on the network and really set up things is really great for me. And thank you for talking about monetizing, because I've been doing conferences for years and people have been on me, Yvette, why don't you put a cost to it? But because my passion is to do it, I struggle, I think, come out of my own pocket every time, and come out of my own pocket every time to make it happen. And I will do what I have to do to make it happen, because that's what passion does. But I need to understand how to monetize it more. So those are some of the things I hope I can get mentored with from this. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yes, and man, we can always sit down and have a discussion about monetizing and putting a cost to your value. And any one of our panelists want to follow up with questions, with our answers? Okay.
Yes, I have a question, and it's for individual persons on the panelists. Now, what I noticed is that you guys individually, with all your great ideas and everything, you came together and you network. But you guys had the strength to put together your ideas and have that platform. Now, I believed that when you put together and you strengthen your platform, it spilled over to another business. So what I analyzed here is that every one of you created your business and it spilled over into another business, like Lawrence's business. And now Lawrence is taking this business with all the great minds, experience, and all the wisdom, and now he's taking it to another level. So I have this question, and I said here, over time your business will evolve. You may start multiple business, and I've noticed each and every one of you has multiple businesses within your media sphere. What will you do differently to make your brand stays with you as you moved from one venture to the next, creating a cohesive story that your audience and many potential customers can recognize and connect with you? So that's my question to each and every one of you, because I know because your business has evolved, there is something that you can do differently to make it. As it's saying that you're building this brand for the Caribbean. So I would like each and every one of you to just briefly talk about how are you going to be, what are you going to do differently to make things better or things happen in a greater manner. Thank you.
So like I'm the head honcho, right? Well, first of all, and this is a great question. I think I am a typical example of doing exactly what you ask, transitioning from a platform into building what you call a legacy after my name. Okay, I'm Ezzy. There you go. You have Ezzy Spotlight. Okay, my son is Ezzy. If something happens to me, he can take that spotlight and make it his own as well. But at the same time, the platform is designed not to be centralized around one type of group or one group of people. It is designed to accommodate every culture, every nationality, every situation. It's not one-dimensional. I do have many of you guys talk about mental health here as well on a monthly basis for the last 3 years. Every fourth Thursday, I do what you call mental health series with a specialist, and she's in Florida. She joins me. We have what you call informal conversations, because we know that, for example, mental health is something that people are very still shy about having conversations about. So we make it informal to give people a sense of comfort to have those conversations every fourth Thursday, for example. So this is just some of the things already that I'm already doing by transitioning from one platform into another platform, but naming it after myself.
Okay, well, my children have zero interest in this, and none of them are named after me, so it's all about me now. So what I've done is I created a second podcast for the daytime hours, because my last show started at 7:30, and being from the UK, I had people who were up at midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Just trying to get them on the platform is a little difficult. So I decided to create a podcast, which is during the lunchtime hours. So it's easier for me to reach people overseas. And I've done that. I've interviewed people in Barbados, in England, all over. And the other thing that I do as well is after a certain amount of shows, like this last season, I kind of stop and pause and think of ways in which I can create it and have different guests on my show, that different types of guests and so forth. So I think that helps me to be able to pivot. And constantly looking at my reach and the audience. A lot of my viewers are in the 18 to 45 age range, which is pretty good. I'm a woman of a particular age, so that's pretty good that they're younger than myself. So just trying to pivot and bring different young artists, like Imar, of course, Imar Shepherd, and just different people to the platform. So.
Cool. In terms of what I would have done differently, I would have been a little more intentional with my audience. I think when I started off, I was just so excited about talking about Caribbean culture. I didn't have a niche. I didn't have a focus. So I would have done that differently. I would have set boundaries. I think I was out in the community doing the most, wearing myself thin, and then I burnt out, like most of us do. So I think with me, I would have set boundaries and used that word no that Shelley and Rose spoke about a lot more. And I think just borrowing from my corporate career, like establishing SOPs or operating procedures, so that even if I do get burnt out or tired, I have people who could just come and pick up the slack and things keep moving forward. So those would be my three.
Piggybacking on what Marissa said in the business sense, and we talked about the business plan before, I think what I would have done differently is have more of a business plan and understand. But I was so excited. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew I wanted to be on radio. I had a good voice. So, And as he said yes, and he said produce a show, and he taught me what to do, and we pressed the button, and it just went from there. But I think you said something about how are we going to sustain and move on going forward, right? I think this is a start. What I can always say is, Ezzy calls me and says, what you doing? I got something. Marissa will call and say, what you doing? I got something. Kazzy will call and say, okay, we got this thing. How can we, both get some money out of them? That kind of thing. We all, I think Ezzy, Shelly, Rico, even Wayne, he sees you. And when you get support from Wayne Hall, and you have to understand, he may say he's here with the elite, but Wayne Hall to me is like one of the most elite in our community. And he does it continuously, day after day, week after week. All the gentlemen here are amazing, but when you hear Wayne Hall compliment a Rose Solo, it means a lot, Lawrence, Ezzy, Wayne, Shelley, Marissa, Kaz, we all have at some point said, I can't do it, can you do it? And if we continue to do that and help create, instead of having the nitpicking and the backbiting, well, I can't do it, I don't know anybody else who can do it. We know a ton of people who can do it. There are a ton more people in media that aren't on this stage. Young, older, whatever you need for whatever your platform. And I think if we continue to do events such as this one, and we continue to build on our community and talk through what we're probably missing or what we need to do more of, then we'll be able to sustain it and grow it more. And you have to be true to yourself. You have to stay authentic. As he mentioned his name for a reason. That will always resonate. Ezzy B will always be there. The Rose Solo show, Rose Solo, the brand, the Phoenix, will always be there as long as we continue to build on our brand and support our community. So that's what I have.
Very good. I think going forward to maintain and sustain a business, and what I would do differently is speaking to what Marissa and Rose said, is having a business plan and a focus. I mean, I didn't know anything about media. I came from corporate America, Wall Street, and again, like many of us, was just following a passion and had no clue what I was doing, where I was going. Thankfully, things worked out pretty well. So that's one thing in terms of what I would do differently. Going forward and to sustain my brand, we have to evolve in terms of technology. And I'm pretty good at technology, but I don't like change. So, you know, you talked about Clubhouse, and then now there's so many multitude of platforms. I'm like, listen, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I'm not adding anything else to the mix. But what happens is, if you're resistant to that, you know, technology is going to keep on rolling. It's not going to stop because you choose not to involve yourself. So going forward, I want to be more, you know, open to embracing all of these new technologies and platforms and allowing myself to continue to grow and not be stagnant.
Thank you, Shelley. One of the things that I always am aware of is the importance of your platform. You know, who you are, how you present yourself, both publicly and on the podcast or whatever. I recently had a big company reach out to me and wanted to do my podcast on their network, but they wanted to own my content. And you know, one of the things that I did was to trademark my name, so if anybody uses my name, I get paid. So that's one thing that is very vital. You know your worth, know what you bring to the table. Don't just sell out just for peanuts. You know, your content is key. Your content is important. And we spend a lot of time, we don't get paid for a lot of things that we do. We do it for the love of it, we do it for the culture. So when you put together your content and you sit down, you edit your stuff and you put it out there to the media, put it out there to the public, own that content. Don't sell out that content. Not that I'm saying, if it's what's best for you, that's you. For me, I work very hard on putting my content together, and I own that content. So in terms of sustainability, pay it forward. You know, teach people. You know, one of my greatest students is Mikey Sparkle. Mikey was a body guy, does body work on cars. And I told him, you have such a personality, you need to be on radio. He took it seriously, and he's now one of the biggest radio personalities here. So those are the things that I love. You know, we come from a culture where we don't want to pay it forward. We don't want to teach people. We feel somebody's going to come take our place. I don't subscribe to that. Teach someone. They can turn around and help you. You never know. So that's how I pay it forward. That's how I make sure that I maintain what I have on my brands. Thank you.
Well, you're still teaching me. So thank you. I wanted to say, Marissa talked about the business plan. I was one of the fortunate ones that I got mentorship from Austin Thompson Jr. early. So before I even started anything, he was one of those people that helped me create a business plan. We created a SWOT analysis. He taught me some words that I didn't even know. And not only did he lay it out on paper, what year I'm going to become a millionaire. You remember that? I got excited. So, Marissa, I agree with you with getting a business plan, having it structured. What I would also add is follow that plan. Because in the excitement of doing it and doing it for free, he had numbers on the paper. I didn't follow those numbers. And doing it for free out of passion is where I veered off to the left. Because millions of dollars is in what we do. And because he's a business analyst and a business consultant, I was fortunate that I got that advice up front early. And I still have that information. And then when I try to forget, we had, what the thing that you bring everybody together, what Kazi House, what was that? Right, so Ro, you were there. So not only did he brought me back a few years after, we were at Kazi's home, and Ro and some of the staff was there, and he updated it. Okay, so this is where you are. This is where you got to go. These are the changes you need to make. And so we got a real one in the house, guys, when it comes to business. Not only do he help you get started, as Marisha suggested, structurally, but he's there in the community adding that value continuously. And I've been able to benefit from that. And the only way I went left is that I didn't follow what he laid out. So I would say, yes, it's good to start that way. It's absolutely right advice. What I would add from my experience is to stay on task with what was advised. And so the second part of the question about sustainability, good partnerships. So in my evolution, I've had a few partners, but I've been able to evolve in a positive way based on proper partnerships. And Austin has guided me behind the scenes. And in my new partnership, I'm partnered now with Brother Reds, and I know he didn't get a chance to get the mic, but I'll say something. He's been in the business or entertainment business for over 40 years. And so even though that I came from production and TV and all of that side, I'm new to radio, a year and a half maybe. But the reason why I was able to go faster is finding strategic partnerships. But balance that partnership with your spirit of discernment, because everything sounds good when someone is trying to partner with you, but what you have to discern for yourself is what their true intentions are. I got lucky with Rez because his intentions is to see us succeed. He's a person that's been in the community and been in business, and so he bring that commitment. He's brought that responsibility. So if it's 5 o'clock in the morning and we got to clean this place, they're here cleaning it with me. No one sees that. If I could be in all these countries, y'all see me traveling, it's because I got a responsible team now that while I'm gone, it's business as usual. There's no deficiency. So yes, as you continue involved in as you continue to evolve in business, watch your partnerships. Use your spirit of discernment to decide if that's the right partner for you spiritually first. So I want to say thank you.
All right. Man, I got to tip my hat, though. Everyone up here wears many hats. Lawrence, the photographer, radio, television. You go to the Mikey movies. You go to the Mikey Sparkle Family Fun Day coming up on Father's Day. Rico is one of the DJs. He's taking pictures at events. Red Carpet Shelly. That red carpet title comes with a lot. Rose Solo, I've seen them on the red carpet. Ezzy, DJ, you know, and Kazi B, slowly getting there. And then, personally, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna lie. I used raw, natural, God-given talent and had fun with it. But what I did with it was position it to have a little income off it. The Wayne Hall Show, I named it that way from day one. I could have called it the Caribbean Jump Up Show, hosted by Wayne Hall, but I said, it's gonna be, my name is gonna be my brand. And I know we had some giggles when I said, the WayneHallShow.com, WayneHallShow@gmail.com, at Wayne Hall Show on YouTube. It was thought out. If you need me, you just need to remember Wayne Hall. In terms of, along the way, my other passion is working with kids with autism. And I saw how parents struggled with that. And I started a website, autismparentssupport.com. That parents can go on and send me a message about what they would like in terms of what I can do for them in that area, right? But to come back to media, which we're here about, if I can play a wedding as a DJ, and it's a great wedding. In fact, I've emceed weddings and DJed the same wedding. I've shown up as the one-man band, and we have fun, we get it done, right? Host a lot of events as an MC. And that's all a spin-off of when I started doing the radio. Because as I go, I discover more about my capabilities and talents. The ability to be versatile. Bring in the most hardcore dancehall guy right now, I can sit down with him and talk some dancehall. Bring the prime minister of any of our countries, I can sit down and talk to him about politics and socioeconomic issues, right? And if you bring the priest, we can talk about the cloth, right? So that's God-given talent, right? And along with that, I try to leave good memories, because by branding me, nobody else can step in tomorrow and be me if I have to stop doing this. But I'm aware of that. And so what I give of now will be the best of me in the best way I can with all the best intentions. And that's how I'll respond to that.
Ezzy B, Kazzy B, Marissa Williams, Rose Solo, the Phoenix, Red Carpet Shelly, Rico Vibes. Yo, you can tell family, right? We all in sync up here, right? Rico Vibes, the man Lawrence Prescott, the man Wayne Hall. I want to thank you all so much for the energy and the value that you brought with this panel, sharing your insights, sharing your experiences, sharing, what make you all valuable and why our community should really take you seriously. And let me tell you, what's the power behind this panel right here? Look at our audience. It's 8:30. It's 8:30. We've gone over the schedule. But look at the audience. They still here. That audience is still here. DJ Reds in the house.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
DJ Reds.
Play that. Whoa, 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 whoa.
DJ Reds and I went to the same high school. We graduated the same year. I played football, he played basketball, and we never ever known each other at Erasmus Hall High School on yes, right, 911 Flatbush Avenue. You know what I'm saying? That's right, Flatbush crew. Long before I was an elected official. Thank God there were no cell phones back then. So they having their own flashback up here. To my audience, I want to thank you all so much. Not just for attending, but for being attentive and for your questions and your inquiries and for just staying, because I literally, when I was putting these questions together, they don't even know this was like the third draft, because I'm like, okay, we got 2.5 hours. I got 8 panelists, 8 radio people. I know they like to talk. So I thought I was gonna get pushback on these times, or I'm gonna get some cracks on these times. I put time limits right next to the questions. Okay, 2 minutes, 1 minute. And I'm like, ain't no way they're gonna stay within 1 minute of this thing. So I sort of kind of knew we might run a little over, but I was like, oh my God, it's 8:30. But I really want to thank you all, because this is really important for us. This is really important for us. It's for us to understand the brand power that we have with our media. You know, always recognize when you want to get 5, 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to pub your event, pub your show. But when it comes to spending those dollars, right, they're nowhere to be seen, right? So we need to leverage our media professionals, leverage their platforms, but also, like Shelley said, hey, maybe there's a package deal that they can all come together and discuss and offer to the community, right? Because they really have the value. We heard the reach, we heard the access, right? And it's not just for Caribbean nationals, our Caribbean community, but our non-Caribbean business owners and organizations who want to reach the Caribbean market, right? Because we all understand the importance of support. We all understand the importance of, you know, being there for one another. Because just as we need you, you need us, and hey, we've got to learn to work together, to collaborate, build partnerships. We've got to learn to come together, not to exploit one another when we need something or when we need to satisfy our own interests, right? But how do we come together and build relationships and collaborations? It's going on all around us in all non-black communities. Trust me, as an elected official, I see it all the time, right? I see it all the time. When it comes to our communities, we still got those, we're still afraid to reach out. Or we're still uneasy about reaching out and building trust and loyalty, right? But we got to get beyond that and work and make it effortless, you know, in doing it, right? But let's start here. Let's start here with our panelists, right? Because they're here. They discuss with you tonight. They remain patient. They discuss with you about the platform they have for you. Now let's work together and access it, and let's help them build their businesses, because this is not voluntary for them. Yes, they do it for free, or they might charge a little bit, but let's help them build their institutions. Just like we have the CNNs and the MSNBCs and the V103s and everything, we've got our media panelists that could be the next media giant. You never know. Ted Turner started from somewhere. Ted Turner and CNN started from somewhere. You never know where these individuals may be 10 years from now. So give it up for our panelists. Thank you all so much. I just want to say get home safe. Happy Caribbean American Heritage Month. God bless. One love. All right.
Oh, yeah. Na, 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 na. I watch it, she woke up, she whiz. She trained to